Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. And oh, crack, I forgot to put my green screen on behind me because, hey, what else is new? Welcome to Proficiency Bonus, where the DM is always forgetting something. My name is Matthew, and we are here for another Monday night here at We Met in a Tavern. See, it's almost like you didn't see the rest of my house behind me. Before we jump over to our players, and we just lost one of our players' cameras. A couple of quick shout-outs to our friends. Big thanks to Streamlabs, Many-Sided Dice, Team MZ, and our friends over at Little Dragon Corp. If you haven't checked out their site yet, they've got their elemental dice, their metal dice, all sorts of tabletop accessories. You can also use the discount code, it's new, PROBONUS, PROBONUS, to get 10% off your orders. So make sure you go check them out. Let them know we sent you over. Definitely got some good stuff. Now I'm going to jump over here and bring us over to our party so we can pick up with what happened last time for those of you who weren't able to be around. So last time our party was still knee-deep in sort of investigating this ongoing multiple homicide of council members within the city of Cair Westfall for the Viceroy. Some of the party was starting to voice opinions that, why are we bothering with this? It was used as a way in. But eventually they had left an inn for the day, realized they were being followed by this strange individual. They ducked down an alley, and a battle ensued. Upon actually getting a good look at this creature, they realized that its face, and it seemed like the majority of its body, was made up, or basically being puppeted, by worms. For those who were not here, what they saw was this. And as Jack, I believe it was Jack at one moment, had basically done a little sort of acrobatic move to jump and rip the hood off of this thing, which showed basically a corpse that had these worms sort of crawling in and out. Looked almost like a zombie, but being controlled by these worms. William with the, superhero move of the day, leaping off the rooftop, blade out to swipe down at this before actually got killed by a glorified water skin. As the party eventually made their way down to the temple, where all of these bodies had been moved, and met an older human male. Bald on the top, long hair, long beard. Told them that they were coming to take a look at the bodies. He escorted them downstairs, having a somewhat terse conversation with them. Some of our party members sort of, checking him out, giving him once over, trying to see what was going on here. Jack, with the key insight, realizing that this person wasn't being false with the party, but wasn't telling them everything. They started noticing little bits and pieces, running water under this, basically the table where he was examining the bodies, different herbs and plant remains that are in some of the coffins. Eventually, he opened a small box next to one of the bodies, pulled out a silver knife, and proceeded to cut himself and show them his hand. Some of the other party members followed suit, and this individual decided that maybe it was time that they all went up to his office and had a conversation. That's a very good point. Yes, Furia did specifically say. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Nightingale. I saw you were looking. Yeah, it's. I quit. I'm going home.
Aren't you home?
Wait a second.
Oh, okay, I'm just gonna crawl under the desk and hide.
Oh, don't do that. We'd miss you too much.
So with that, we will pick up right where we left off. As you guys are now following this person up to their office. Again, the old man walks up leaning on his staff, back up through the catacombs, up the stairwell, and this time when he gets to the top of the stairs, he takes a left. You go past that main hallway that led down to the entranceway, and then continue straight along, and then take another left on the far side of the hallway into a rather nice office area. And see, there's a rather plain desk at the back, has some books and scrolls on it. There's a small table, there's a couch on the far side. It seems to be enough seating. It might be a little tight given the number of you that are there, but he eventually goes over, sits behind his desk, and sits down. Well, now, it seems we are in a similar vein here, dealing with this situation. Makes some cloth, starts wiping his head off. How are you involved in all this?
Oh, we got a contract from the lady herself to investigate these murders that are happening of the councilman, and we came to see the bodies today to see if there was anything of interest. And we've been investigating the houses, and we found some things of interest there as well.
I could only imagine. My friend was not able to get in to examine the houses of the guards. The Viceroy does not want people poking around.
Your friend? Does he have eyes like a cat?
Does a... Oh. So I see you've met Seklis. Yes.
What was that name?
Seklis. Seklys.
We are acquainted. He and I seem to share opinion that the Viceroy, even though she us, is not being truthful. It is on his advice that we are here in this place to begin with. She turns to the others. The Viceroy is not tell us of this place. Is that correct?
It's true.
Correct.
Yes, it seems she is looking into it for face more than anything else. Although, one would assume she is aware why her people have been targeted.
I'm sorry, did we ever get your name?
No, you may call me Abel.
Abel. Father Abel, thank you very much.
So that we can be clear, because we have talked in circles around this issue. What is it exactly that you are believe is happening here with these cancelled people, Father Abel?
Well, each one of them that has been slain thus far. Well, to put it rather bluntly, is a monster. We had the Lady Wolfstride, was a recently elevated vampire. We have a were-tiger in the guise of Arkanscape. And, well, we managed to... Well, I shouldn't say we. Seklis managed to deal with Galantara before his transformation could be completed.
Transformation into what exactly?
Another vampire. The Viceroy likes to keep most of the council under her thumb.
This Viceroy is aware that these cancel are monsters. She is responsible for turning them?
Well, for the vampires, yes. The guardsman who stands within her office whenever she has guests, the rather large, burly-looking one. He is a were-tiger. He, should they desire one, will attempt to change one.
Oh dear.
If it doesn't take, he tends to just tear their throats out, and then they find another council person.
Oh dear.
The
I feel like we're in over our heads.
the guard is were tiger. Is that the Viceroy herself is a vampire? You believe?
Or something.
I am almost certain, but again, I do not
Oh yeah, vampire Stone Age,
stick my neck out.
so to speak.
Kill him. The woman who you got your armor from. What is her name again?
Cater and Balda. We talked to a Cater and her husband Balda, who owned who were the armorists in the marketplace.
We go to their house, no? And there is
We went to the Balda
vampire in the
estate,
basement.
and yes. And also, we think there may be some connection through clothing of a greenish, blackish color.
I have not personally been made aware of any sort of uniform, but they must have some purpose for what they're attempting to do. I have had Seckless, as we discover council people that have been turned. Once Seckless can verify that they are in fact turned, they remove them from the picture.
And how many of the council people are monsters?
So
Squeaky
far,
as kids?
Seckless has confirmed only 3.
Right.
But unfortunately, it is rather difficult to be certain. So it requires much research and time. But we have been working on a way to deal with the larger problem.
The larger problem.
Meaning perhaps the Viceroy?
Precisely, my diminutive friend. There is an arcane artifact. Well, I perhaps should not say arcane. It was created using both arcane and divine enchantments. It was being delivered to us here. Unfortunately, the courier was due 4 days ago, coming from the northeast. It has not arrived as of yet. We did hear rumors of a band of heavily cloaked and shrouded clerics
Oh dear.
in the woods, about 6 or 7 miles out of town.
You think they have waylaid your item that you are waiting for?
That is my hope, now that...
He points to his own hand and gestures at Jack and the few others who had cut themselves.
Now that I know I have individuals who I think I can trust with this information, if you should be willing to travel out and obtain the item, assuming the enchantments we had requested were successfully put on it, it should be enough to give groups such as yourselves and my own ally Seckless enough of an edge to deal with the Viceroy.
We are on a somewhat of a time limit. This is not going to take very long to travel out there.
No, it is only, as I said, about 6 or 7 miles.
Half a day's walk. Can make that easy.
Well,
If you
perhaps
choose to
for
walk
you.
it, perhaps. There are carriages that the temple has access to. I can have them
Alright.
give you a ride most of the way out, say 5 miles, we'll leave and then await your return for a few hours.
That'd be wonderful.
Do you know what symbol these clerics carried? Whose they are?
No, the description we were given is that they were heavily bandaged, almost as if ill.
Would I know this god?
Go ahead and make a religion check.
Jack gives everybody a very oh, here we
Knowing-
go.
16?
Knowing, yeah.
Thinking of the gods that you're familiar with and trying to think of gods that specifically deal with disease and things of that nature, the gods you've always studied have been more on the side of light and the side of good, so you can't think of any necessarily that would treat their followers in such a way that would leave them ill like this. You can think of some Ilmater who wants to heal the ill, though. And
Right.
everyone you can think of is always, oh, if you're sick, we'll fix you, not, let's bandage you up and hide you away.
Yes. Well, that's problematic.
And he
Unless
also,
they're made out of worms.
as he looks in,
What is strange is they talk with an almost hissing sound. It's
Oh, great.
Is that how the guy that we fought talked?
no.
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
He
it's,
talked in like a guttural, like,
yeah, he was a very sort of like,
shamanic voice.
yeah.
Hissing
That's it.
voices.
As he starts to say this, and he starts, trying to make sounds like it was described to him. Snow Moon, your first reaction is you think he's making fun of somebody trying to speak Draconic. That knee-jerk reaction is, wait a minute. But then you realize, you're thinking maybe it's some sort of offshoot of like a Draconic-esque language.
I'll step forward. What is that language that you're speaking?
this is how they were described to speak. It's not. I do not speak the language. It's an attempt only to emulate a sound I understand not.
And you don't know what kind of creatures these clerics are?
No, heavily robed. I would say mummified, but they just said wrapped in bandages and robed.
They just like we like it, right, guys?
Perhaps we should have a conversation amongst ourselves for a moment before we proceed any further.
Alright.
But
Do
of
you mind if we
course,
step out of the room, Father?
how about this? This has seats for you. I have my chores to deal with. I will be out in the main chamber.
Alright,
No,
thank
this-
you.
Not all of you, and walk out the door, close it behind him.
Yeah, so this is a good way to procure another artifact and see what Lady Elisa has herself. If we weaken her.
And we should ask the father more about what this artifact is.
We are in agreement then that we believe this father and his associate Selkis that I have met. We are inclined to believe their story.
I think all the things we found in relation fit.
All of
Way more
the
than the ladies' version.
yes, all of the all of the people slain were monsters in some sort of form or another, so
It does
Uh,
make a little bit more sense what Maylie Bailey was talking about. She was watching and waiting. That
oh,
makes sense with everything that we've just heard.
Do you think we should tell Maylie that we've come across these, people that she warned you against here in town?
well, they're not members of the people with their three squiggles, are they?
The cleric that we fought that was full of little worms?
Yes,
Carried
but I'm talking
three
about the were
slippers.
tiger and stuff.
No, I'm mentioning maybe we should mention to Maylie that we've come across these people.
Okay, the actual
Sorry,
worm
it's
dude.
not really on
Okay.
topic, but
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
concern.
And I can get my concertina. But on the task of on the subject of the artifact, I think we should go claim it. See what kind of trouble's out in the forest. Curious
Right.
about these clerics.
I am inclined to agree. I think that if we keep in mind our ultimate goal is to obtain this item that is in the Viceroy's estate, from everything that we have done so far, I believe that aligning ourselves with he's a cleric of Kalimvor, this guy.
Yep.
Aligning ourselves with the cleric of Kalimvor and his associates is perhaps the fastest way to accomplish this. But Furia, I know you are
Look, I
needing
don't
information
care.
from the woman, yes?
I do, but if maybe something in her papers or something in the collection she has can help me. Oh, and as long as I get her before something else happens to her, I just need information. I don't need her longevity.
Are we... Are we committed to eliminate this Viceroy if she is indeed a monster, or do we simply figure out a way to get our hands on the items that we need and perhaps Furia's information and
Well, I do
get
not
out of
like the fact
consciousness?
that she's killing people because they will not become weretaggers or cannot become. That's
I
a
don't-
little much.
I don't think it's fair to have a vampire as a ruler over a land. Doesn't seem right.
um,
They can be a bit mean, it seems.
Personally, I don't care for the fact that she has tried to play us for fools.
This is also true.
I would happily go along with this plan if it is the most expeditious way to get our item and get out of here. And if the Viceroy happens to get dead in the process, all the better.
Whoopsie daisy.
All right then.
Lydia is going to go to the desk and open a random drawer and put 40 gold in there and close it.
Okay.
Because you said this wasn't like one of the nicer temples, right?
No, it looks like this is, like, you can see it's serviceable, but it's definitely seen some wear and tear.
Okay, so that's what she does. She just
Okay.
kind of quickly opens the drawer, pours in like a pocket full of gold, and shuts it real quick.
Okay. Anything else the rest
What
of you
a
would be
nice gesture.
I think he needs it more than we do right now.
Right now, yes, perhaps. Out of character, was I one of the people that just like stabbed and cut myself? Or no? Okay.
doing?
I
No,
don't
I
think
think
so.
I think we left you just sort of off to the side at the moment.
I
Okay.
think it was actually only Jack and Furia that did.
Yeah, I think
so-
it was too.
Alright.
Okay. Out of character, Fury would have had to before he would have said anything, given her comment
Oh,
about
yeah,
eating people.
Yeah.
I was sort of at the back, and then I realized that yeah, this is a good idea. So then I stepped forward and I did it.
We have, I think, one more thing that we need to figure out before we proceed any further. These creatures that the priest and his associate are fighting, the Viceroy, perhaps these clerics in the woods. There is, how you say, same between them all.
There's a connection.
We need to obtain silver weapons.
No, Moon, didn't you collect those 3 silver daggers?
Yes, I do have 3
That
silver
first step.
daggers from one of the houses we investigated.
I am not particularly keen on trying to take out an entire nest of vampires with 3 daggers. I wonder
No,
if
but
this,
Agreed.
this cleric and his associate have a source for clearly the assassin is as a source for the silver tip crossbow bolts. A few of us have magic that we can utilize, but it would be, I think, smart to attempt to obtain a set of weapons capable of engaging in some serious fighting if that comes to it.
and perhaps if they do not, maybe Melee could point us in the proper direction.
One way or another, I think this is something we should look into before we charge into. In fact, everything we fight needs silver. Man in the turtle needs silver. People in the house need silver. We waste our time not get silver weapon. It's ridiculous.
Well,
Why everything this damn island needs silver to kill?
let's go and let the guy know, Abel, know that we're going to take his job and get some silver. Or ask him about it.
Snow Moon, I don't exactly have the propensity to wield many weapons. If I could perhaps maybe take one of those daggers off of you, that would probably be the best for me.
Sure. One, or would you like two, or?
Let's go with two in case I get feisty and want to chuck one at someone.
He'll take 2 daggers off his belt and hand them to Art.
They'll look them over, I guess, kind of do the stupid thing and test the point with one of their fingers and then put them away.
He's just watching, but he doesn't say anything.
You tap it, you've got a nice bead of blood pooling on the end of your finger now. It's
Okay, Art.
rather sharp.
You hold this part, and that part goes into the bad guy.
Yes,
I must say, you look
Stick him with the pointy
immaculate,
end.
yes, a regular bruiser.
Before we're done here, I'm gonna get up and open the door and start walking out.
Yeah.
Looking around for the guy.
Okay. You can see he's actually sitting up. As you walk out and turn right and head back into the sort of main worship area, and you can see there's an altar up at the far end. As you come out and turn right, it's off to your left. And he's sitting in one of the front pews, just sitting there, his head bowed down. Seems to just be sitting and waiting.
I loudly clear my throat.
Throat
You know,
turns his head.
trying to be polite here.
Have you come to a decision?
I believe so. Several decisions, actually, but we will go out and search. What does this thing look like, and how can we tell it's the real one?
It is a quarterstaff with a rather large, I suppose I'll call it a citrine gemstone held within a 3-pronged silver setting at the top. The gemstone is carved to appear as if it is the sun.
Oh, sounds pretty.
We are also wondering if we would be able to get our hands on some silver or silvered weapons.
That a small grin, and then he sort of reaches over and goes on the bench next to him, and you can see there's a small wooden box. Looks to be about 3.5 feet long, maybe about 6 or 8 inches deep.
Nice.
Oh,
See.
goodies.
Reaches over and opens it up.
We don't have much. What little coin we had coming in went to getting these items silvered, as we were hoping to have 8 before long.
He reaches down and he pulls out and sets out a bundle of arrows, a bundle of crossbow bolts, 2 daggers, and 2 long swords.
This is all we were able to get silvered before running too low on coin.
Understandable. Thank you. I want to take just a few crossbow bolts, I think.
Okay, he's set down a full bundle of 20, so.
Okay,
If nobody else will
I'll
use the
take 4.
arrows, I'll take them. I can't. Well, long swords are not really my style.
I'll take one of the long swords.
Okay.
Jack will also pick up one of the long swords, though she's not like testing the balance or the feel of it or whatever. She's like looking at the blade and seems to be contemplative.
I'm taking 6 crossbow bolts, just so you know.
Just 6?
Just 6.
Oh, okay.
In case anyone else wants any.
I would
Yeah.
like some crossbow bolts. And
There's 14 of them left. There's another dagger left.
I can give you more. I don't need that many. I was gonna try to.
Anything that
Kill.
isn't like if the dagger is left at the end, anything that is not like immediately claimed, I'd like to have Jack grab.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna have to figure out something how to create silvered ammunition out of whatever like we can get our hands on for her.
Well, you also have.
I'm gonna have to pay a visit to Goggles,
Goggles Girl.
at the guild thing to see if I can have her figure out a way to silver my guns out of whatever I can melt down that we're not using for something else.
so,
I
so,
can use
so
a
there's
longsword,
a.
but
So what was that, William?
So there's crossbow bolts left.
There's 14 crossbow
And what
bolts
else?
left. And there's 2 daggers left. The 2 long swords
Okay.
have been picked up. The arrows were picked up by Furia. And Lydia took 6 crossbow bolts. So there's 14 crossbow bolts left. And
I would like the 14 crossbow bolts and the 2 daggers.
Okay.
okay.
Unless you need another crossbow bolt, I don't need all 6 probably. That's just a contingency plan.
Oh, sure, I'll take one.
Okay, so 5.
how many arrows did I get?
20. Full bundle. Basically a full bundle. Yeah. So
Is there
you for some of you dealing with just weapons, you may or may not know silvering 10 pieces of ammunition or a single weapon costs 100 gold.
Okay.
So it's not exactly a cheap thing for a rundown temple to be able to do.
Yeah.
Is there something in D&D Beyond that has like a silvered quality to it?
Let me
Like
see.
in the item? It doesn't look like there is.
No, I don't. I don't believe so. Let me just see. Yeah. So the only thing is, that if you do a search for silvered weapons, it'll just give the little blurb about silvering your weapon, immunity or resistance to non-magic, or can't be susceptible to silver. You can plate it with silver. It costs 100 for a single weapon or 10 pieces of ammo.
I'll just remember that longsword is silvered.
Yeah.
Alright. So we have to go find someone to silver your bullets, Jack.
I am not sure. I have to talk to the woman from the Crafters Guild. I don't know if it is even possible. These, she kind of pats the 2 guns. They don't technically fire bullets, as it were. I may be out of luck, but she pats the longsword. I have this if necessary. But I will have to talk to the woman first to see if I can find out before I would be ready to go.
Alright, let's do that.
So, go to the market area, or around there, and I mean that's a long ways from here, and then all the way back out.
What time of day is it? It's like
It's still
After lunch.
It's probably just after lunch at this point. Yeah.
I think we should also. She takes out the sending stone. I have this to contact Selkis. We are going to trips out into the wilderness to obtain his item. He should come with us.
You worried about forests?
No, I'm worried about doing people's work for them. Can come get his own staff with sands on it. He's as much involved in this as we are. We might as well get the extra firepower, no? He's already killed 3 of these monsters.
Sure, it just, makes the time we're spending in the city longer, and we only have so much time to do our thing here.
We have what, a week left? No? Spend half a day walking out to get these item, half a day walk back. Take us 15 minutes to shoot Viceroy in the face, and then we go. It'll take a week. Be fine.
It's always good to have extra time. You never know what's going to happen.
My sister's not one to mince words.
Regardless, I am not keen on going into any of these combats unprepared. I need to visit somewhere to get my weapon looked at if I'm going to fight effectively.
I'm not going to deny you that. I agree. The better prepared we are before we leave, the better the outcome will be. Maybe Abel here can send his friend a message and tell him to meet us outside the city.
I believe Selkie says the other one of these to contact.
If you know when you are planning on being out of the city, I can arrange to have him meet you there. But you would need to be able to tell me when you will be leaving via the carriage. I can arrange for you so I know when to tell him.
I suppose that depends on how long it takes us to get our materials in order. I don't know until I talk to this classy lady.
Alright, why don't we go do that first thing then?
Neat.
Cool. Let's go do that.
Sorry, Para's sending me messages.
It's cool.
Sorry.
I know. Don't be sorry.
Silvered. Bang. Okay.
And I will mention that if you're using D&D Beyond, our friend Scythia Nightingale pointed out if it can be silvered, which even if it can't be, I told you it was, so it is. There should be a check mark next to it in the item in D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I just put the screenshot there in
okay.
Discord.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys are departing there, heading back to Hydra's Burrow to go meet with Mara, correct?
That's my lady, right?
Yep.
Where's Melee Bailey in relation to that? Other people
So
don't have-
Hydra's Burrow is up here in the 3rd area, and Melee Bailey is on the 4th. That was under 4. So, I mean, you guys are coming from 6, so you could basically, if you wanted to, basically split here. Those going to Melee can go south, those heading Gills can go north.
Okay.
You can stick to it together. It'll take you a little longer that way, but
Why don't we split up? Get 2 things done at once.
That sounds
Never hurt
like a
anybody.
good idea.
I guess, if anybody wants to come with me, they can. If not, then you wish to go to the other. If you want to give me any coin and things that you want me to see if she can silver for you, I can bring it with me as I go.
I'll stick with you, Jack.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having an a blade silvered if possible, but we'll see how much time she can do it in.
Okay, so we've got those three heading up, and who is heading to see Melee Bailey?
I guess I'll go with Art. Got to talk about my concertina.
Yes, we gotta
Very important.
talk about
Yes.
some interesting things going on.
You guys have anything you want us to try and get silvered for you, or while we're making the trip up there?
No, I
Did
had
I? Sorry.
no. I was
Did
just
I
saying no.
ever- Did I ever figure out what that grapefruit spoon was made out of?
No, because you weren't here. Go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Oh heck. Okay.
On your wizard, that should be good.
Yeah.
Well, 18.
That's good.
It's bone.
Ooh.
Oh.
You don't know what the bone's from, but it's a bone spoon.
Ooh. I don't know if I did from mine.
balanced breakfast.
It's calcium.
Start your day off right. Eat your grapefruit with a bone spoon.
Ugh.
It is beautifully made. I mean, the craftsmanship is just gorgeous, but yeah, it's made out of bone.
Okay. Well. No. I don't think I need that silvered. I think I'm good.
And William, which way are you going? You heading north or south?
North.
Okay. So we will start with this southern visit to Melee Bailey, because I think the north may take a couple minutes longer. So you guys hit that fork in the road that you've hit numerous times. 4 of you start heading off to the north to go back to the guild hall. As Artemis and Lydia continue into the marketplace to find Melee Bailey. Doesn't
What time
take
did you say it was?
At this point, it was shortly after lunch when you left, so it's probably like early afternoon.
Okay.
I'll say that probably like 1:30, 2 o'clock, somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
As you guys find your way in, you can see she's there. Seems to be slow. She's just sitting on the back of her cart. Looks to be a small book out. Just perusing.
What kind of book?
You're welcome to look up and ask. It's hard to see from the distance.
Oh.
It's not the big. You can see the large book is.
Okay, that's
I'll call
what
it the
I
Artemis book. Is still on the hip. This looks to be like a regular, like a reading.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to know if it was the demon.
No, it is not the demon book.
Okay.
Reader's Digest.
Hey, don't knock that.
I guess, yeah, we'll walk up and.
Well,
Slightly behind Art.
nice to meet you again. Hello.
Oh yes, you're back. Yes, how can I help you? Bring you here today.
Well, my lovely comrade, friend here has to ask you about concertina things, but before we do that, can I... So you remember those people that you warned me about?
She smiles and sort of chuckles and looks down a little. I seem to recall a certain conversation happening.
Well, yes. Well, it seems that my lovely group of adventurers was followed, perhaps, maybe by just a corpse of worms, and that sounds like it might have to do with the Wiggly Prince. To be honest,
Oh, we did find a bag on him with the 3 symbols, Artemis. We forgot to tell you that.
Oh, good to know. Wonderful.
And as you describe this individual, and Lydia chimes in with that, you watch her face go almost a little white. And then, as quick as you see it, it's back, and that same sort of veneer is back in place. And you go, well, so somebody's taken an interest in you already.
already. Would you happen to be the reason why that individual was following us?
Oh, dear, no. Why would I have anything to do with that entity? My plans are much bigger than his.
Sure. Oh dear.
Don't
So is it
understand.
joy talking to you? My brain is going 1,000 miles a minute. Would this might be out of left field? Would the Viceroy have anything to do with that?
That just cocked. Looks at, reaches down and sort of ruffles Art's hair a little bit. Oh, and you were doing so well. No, you're heading in the wrong direction. The Viceroy is not even a pawn in this game.
Well, good to know.
Oh, we're playing a game then. That sounds fun.
Well, it's a dangerous game.
Like chess, but deadly.
That is
Yes.
one way of looking at it, tall thing.
Yes. This is great.
Well, I just wanted to clear some questions up about it. Would you... Is there any way that you can tell us how better to maybe avoid getting more into trouble with this prince?
That would be difficult, as I'm not entirely sure what you've done to draw his eye to you. Once you know what you've done to attract attention, then it is just merely a thing of stop that behavior. But as the eye is already upon you, one must be careful, for it may be ready to blink.
Oh dear, right.
This
Good
is
feelings.
like a riddle.
Good feelings all around. Oh dear. All right. Well, I fear that just gave me more questions, but thank you nonetheless.
So how's the concertina coming?
She reaches down and sort of pats Art on the shoulder a little bit.
They're just like muttering and. What now?
And you both hear her muttering a little bit as she sort of pats Art on the shoulder. And she looks over at you. Oh, yes, you're Constantina. Yes, I believe that actually that should be ready. It's about midday. It should be done by now. If you would care, we can take a... I mean, it's only a short trip over to Godfrey's. Can arrange to pick that up if you would care to join me.
Yes, Art. Let's go do this thing with this lady.
Right.
I'm like
Sure.
carrying Art's arm.
Oh.
But
It's halfway off the ground.
Yeah.
who that is, anybody sort of closes up her car, throws a couple of things over. Looks at one of the other people. Just be a day, keep an eye on this, and I'll be back in 20 minutes or so. It shan't take long. And she walks over, puts her arm around the small of Lydia's back, and starts leading her away.
All right.
Last time anyone ever saw Lydia.
Or Art.
Right.
Then,
I robbed everything in the store and left.
as we will now jump up to our party heading up to see
Mara at the guild hall. So it takes you guys a little while to get there, but eventually you come up, and again you see those same large, beautiful steps leading up, the two sculptures outside. As you start walking through the front door, Jack, you're remembering right this way. You know the door's right on the left, and all of a sudden from within you hear boom come from within the room. Then a couple of seconds later, boom.
Mazel tov.
Is that boom as in like a giant anvil being struck, or boom as in like the biggest version of my guns that anybody's ever heard of?
It sounds similar to your guns.
Okay.
It's not quite as forceful.
Okay.
As what you're used to with your pistols. But it sounds like it's you're getting. I guess the best way I can describe it is you're walking and you're getting closer to the door and you're hearing this. It's got more, I guess I'll phrase it, body to the sound. Like when you hear it and the sound echoes out, it's light and it's powerful. This doesn't give you the same sense of power, the shockwave you're used to feeling, but it feels deeper. It feels almost more real to you. Get a little more bass to the boom.
Nice.
So like disco lights coming out of
Yeah.
the wall. All right. Well, I'll head through the door that I went to and look for the where I spoke to Mara before. I guess see if she's there or if someone in that chamber.
Right as you walk in, you can see that there are 3 or 4 people standing like near the desk station area where she was before, and they're all staring towards the right of the door. As you turn and look, you can see Mara standing there with a very small metal object in her hands, and just laughing hysterically, and then reaching down onto the ground, onto the desk beside her, picking up something, sticking it in the front, and then boom, and fire, and picks up another one, boom.
We would get along swimmingly.
Yeah.
Is she shooting it like a target?
Yep, just shooting. It looks to be into almost like a rather large bale of hay. It looks like it's got some sort of just like plain paper parchment on it. And you can see there are a bunch of small little holes in the parchment.
All right. I'd like to get sort of up behind her a little bit, and like as she's in the process of reloading, using one of these shots, Jack just pulls out one of her guns and just goes like.
and as she starts to reload, it literally the ball, and it just looks like a small metal ball goes flying in the air, and she jumps to the back. Oh my God, you're back! Oh, this is wonderful! And sets it down on the table, and I have things to show you. We need to talk. I took some of the designs I saw from yours, and I tried doing that. And she holds up this little, and it's a little tiny, mechanically where you're a gunslinger. She literally has a very rudimentary palm pistol that it looks like she's made. It's like, I took the ideas from yours, and before I started, I've got this design on this the big thing you asked about. But I wanted to see if I can make it work first, so I did this first, and it fires one of these little metal balls, goes really fast across the room, and it makes a hole. It's so exciting. This is the best thing I've ever made. But she turns and looks back at the target where you shot. There's just this giant gaping hole in it. But it's not as good as yours yet. But I'll get there. But come over here. Let me show you this. And she comes out and she starts rolling out this parchment. And it looks to be, again, this design of this long rifle that you had discussed with her. Okay. And as she
does that, as she's like running over there, Jack is like nodding at her like this. And then when she turns her back to go over to the parchment, she turns to William and she goes, "What was every thing that she just said?" She speaks very fast. I don't understand any of it.
Well,
I don't think William can hear you.
Oh. Well, presumably he translates it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Takes a couple of moments. It's even everyone in there had a little bit of trouble understanding her as she was flying through that, but you can see, even without understanding, you can see she is very excited, and she has made a very sort of rudimentary single round fire version of your weapon. As she's laying the time, she goes, okay, so okay, let me calm down a moment. Okay, so this will take a little bit of time to craft, and again, I know when you showed me yours, and even now, it does not seem to fire a projectile such as the one that I made, so I'm not 100% sure how to replicate that ability.
As long as the mechanism is correct, I should be able to take care of the rest. As she lays it out, and you can see she's replicated a lot of the basically the style of the hand grips on your pistols into this more sort of laying out, like, longer rear handle for the gun. You can see it's just the design she's laid out for you is very, I'll phrase it, craftsman. This is not a mechanic building this. Mm-hmm. As you're looking at this, this is something that she is viewing as her masterpiece work. Sure.
And I've looked at this, and we have this opportunity to. The way I've got it set up now, it should be accurate to a few hundred feet, but there's this, and she shows you another piece of. If we can manage to get a couple of small crystals to act as lenses, similar to the ones I'm wearing now, we can design a sort of viewing apparatus on the top of it, so that you should be able to fire off at distances of upwards of 600-700 feet, perhaps even further. Again, your aim may suffer. I don't know your skill level, but if you are happy with the design, I can attempt to start fabrication. It will take potentially, at least for the mechanical pieces, only a few days, but assembling it would. The parts that I think I can do, maybe 3 or 4 days, but I would need some time with you at the end of it to make sure we get the mechanisms properly, unless she looks at you and your holsters where the pistols sit. Unless you can leave one with me for a few days. Didn't think that was going to happen.
My mic didn't freeze. That's what Jack's doing to her.
I did not expect that I would get a positive response on that, but one can hope.
I switched to halfling. Guillaume, how many days do we have before we are supposed to leave here?
Sorry, it's hard for me to follow along right now.
It's like
at this
7
point,
days?
Yeah, technically this is your first of the 7 days. Actually, let me rephrase. That's right. It's you have a week, and this is your first of the 10-day.
Right.
So you technically have 9.5 days left. As my neighbor's car alarm goes off.
I have only one 10-day in the city. Can this be completed by this time?
Yes, if you can come back and say 4 days from now, that will give me the time to prepare the prepare the different pieces, and then perhaps you and I working together can get everything assembled properly within the within a day or two afterwards, which will fit within your time frame.
That should be manageable. However, there is another reason for my visit today, and she gestures towards the others with her. We are in a particular situation that we have certain weapons to be conditioned with silver. You are clearly busy with this project, but perhaps you have another associate here who would be willing to come onto this project. We are required to have some weapons silvered, and perhaps I can have you look at mine again, and I don't know if it is possible even to infuse a silvered aspect onto these, seeing as they don't fire preloaded ammunition, but we're going to look at this.
Well, I can definitely take a look at yours, but we may have a... Well, you may be able to help me with a bit of a field test. And she holds up a hand and goes running off for a minute. Eventually comes over a few minutes later with a sort of heavy-set dwarvish fellow following behind her.
As she's away, before she comes back, Jack just like turns to the others. She goes, "Don't offer her any money. I have a plan."
Alright.
So
All
it's-
right.
Okay.
Eventually, she comes back over and says, this here is Lysum. He has actually received a strange number of requests in the last month or so for silvering weapons, but has been rather quick about doing it. Depending on the number you need, he should be able to get it done for you today. But before I turn you over to him to discuss if whatever he will be looking for from you, you young lady, I actually want to discuss something with you. As you can see, I've created this sort of smaller version of yours that only fires a single round that you have to load each time, but perhaps if we were to supply you with some silver balls for this, you would be willing to test this in the field. It seems you're planning something.
An interesting proposition. It is, I think, a good start. I have a what is the word? Counter offer.
Well, I'm listening.
I will be happy to test your firearm for you with your silver ammunition. However, I think that it seems you have, because of me, stumbled upon quite an opportunity for yourself, no? The inventor of such item as this will be rich and legendary among craftsmen of weaponry, no?
Immediately you see her face looks down and you can see her cheeks reddening.
She says, and of course you need my assistance with this weapon and with continue to study my own firearm. I am not a woman of particular material taste, but my group and I have certain requirements to do our jobs. How do you say to trade for my knowledge of this weapon, my assistance in your crafting of what will be undoubtedly a very profitable item for you. You can help with your associate to obtain silver weaponry that they will need of their own, and we will then call the crafting of my weapon that I give you schematic for equal trade for the right to reproduce as you see fit.
Huh. Go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage as you watch those eyes go wide.
The higher of the dice is an 18, and her persuasion is a 2, so a 20 total.
Okay. As you say that, she doesn't even respond. She just sort of walks past you, grabs Les and drags him off to the side a little bit, and you can hear a very sort of rushed, muttered conversation. And you hear him a couple of times. No, what about me? A little further back and forth, and you watch as she reaches up and smacks him at the back of the head.
Fine, but I'm holding you to that.
Comes walking back over.
Oh, looks like I'm doing it for you out of the goodness of my heart. So, limit of 2 weapons or 20 pieces of ammunition each. After that, we talk coin.
And he glares over his shoulder, looking back at Mara. You can, as she's walking back over to you, Jack, and just, I hope that will be sufficient, as that's as much as I could get him to agree to.
It is more than helpful, I think.
And he will be including within that a total of 20 silver balls for this, and she holds over this small palm pistol for you.
Okay.
As you're looking at it, it's very sort of rudimentary looking. You can tell it's sort of first shot. It doesn't have the same flair of the design she showed you, but it's more proof of concept. It's like all you do, you put the single shot in the top, and let it fall down. Cock this piece back and pull the trigger as you do with your own.
Very good. I have a feeling that there will be ample opportunity for me to make use of this in the next few days.
I hope the 20 rounds will be enough for you. But we shall see what comes of it. Some says we can have the silvered items ready for you. If they're your own weapons, then they will need to be left here over this evening, but you will be able to pick them up as soon as our doors open at 7:38 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Very good. She just kind of turns back to the rest of the group. Just, okay. Get all your crap silvered.
Snowman will approach, and he'll take his greatsword out, and he'll hold it flat, like across his body, with like in both hands. And as he hands it over, just be very careful with this.
Oh, bloody hell, that's a big one.
He takes it, and again, you watch it very gently sets it on the table behind him.
That's all for you, just one big sword then?
Yes, that's all.
Maybe I will break even on this. Oh.
And I'll go up and I'll hand him a scimitar and a short sword.
Okay, at least he's a normal size.
Good. Sets him
Yes, you
again next to Snow Moon's sword.
What about you, little master? What are you looking to get done?
I think I would like these 2 scimitars.
I'll take those from you. Set them aside.
The deal was 2 weapons or 20 pieces of ammunition, yes, correct?
Ah, that's correct.
She draws out a long, slender rapier and places that. Then for myself, I will like to have the silver and 10 additional piece of crossbow ammunition for my brother, please.
Suppose I can do that for you.
Alright, takes all that from the group. He sets it down.
I'm going to get started on this. It's going to be a late night. So, you will not be dealing with me in the morning. I'm making her come in here first thing in the morning to give it to you, so.
And with that, he
Well, thank you.
So it's
Thank you for
taking-
doing it. I appreciate it.
Yes.
give a little bit of a grin to him, bows his head, and then
Better be worth as much as she said it's going to be.
he goes, starts back over and starts heating up the forge. You can see him working the bellows, starting to get the fire going. And then Mara looks back over to him. Well, it seems we are prepared then. I have my own work. And she glances back down at the sketched out long gun that she's working on for Jack. If there is nothing else, I will get back to work and I will see you all in the morning for your pickup.
Very good.
Do make sure to hold on to that pistol for me. I would like to have it back if it doesn't explode on you.
Pardon, my comment is oui, not good. Explode is word you use?
Yes.
How likely is explode to happen?
Tops 2-3%, I think. We've been firing it all day with no problem, but one can never tell. It is, in fact, a prototype. It's the first one we've ever made.
Very good. I shall do your test. Let us say, if a weapon explode on me, we have further negotiation.
But then she's so fast. If you make it back, yes, we can negotiate further.
She walks away and she's like, I guess William is probably understand in halfling. She's like, better goddamn hope I don't make it back if this weapon explode in my hand.
She said she likes it.
As you say that, Mara gives you a little, looks over at you all and gives you a little bit of a wink and a nod, and then goes back over to the paperwork. Okay, so it seems like the group is heading out from the guild hall, leaving their weapons in Lesson's hands, and that is the perfect time for us to take our break this evening. So we are just about halfway through, so thank you very much those who've been hanging out with us this evening. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Going to take a couple moments, top off our drinks, please, whatever we may need to do. And we'll be back soon to see what happens to our party next, so don't go anywhere. Our party has just made arrangements with the guild hall to obtain some silvered weapons for the majority. Well, I don't know if I'll say the majority of the party, but for a decent chunk of them. So we are going to pick up with them as you guys are now seeming to head out from there and meet back up with your party. It seems like you have the rest of the evening to yourselves. You're not due to pick up your weapons until the morning, so...
I would wait till everybody else left the area, and then I would sort of sneak back and ask the lady that Jack was talking to if she would mind making me a pair of earplugs, leather earplugs, and I would, give her a gold or two or more if she needed them. It'd be fine if she had them for the morning as well.
And she sort of shrugs a little bit. I can try, and 2 gold should cover it.
I know it's, short notice, but one of my companions has recently asked for a concertina to be made, and I really don't want to go insane if she is not that great at playing it. It's a precautionary thing. I hope you understand.
She sort of chuckles and says, we deal mostly with metal here, but I will do my best, but don't expect comfort, expect function.
Function would be more than plenty in this case.
Here I was thinking it was for the bullets
Yeah.
from the gun, and it's really for my crappy concertina playing.
Which may or may not be
Really
crappy.
bad at the concertina, they can probably make you like an ice pick. It's like
It's cautionary, and I mean, I've learned that earplugs can come in handy in many
Yes, they can.
circumstances. So, yeah, I would put down 2 gold and thank her profusely before following everybody else out.
So, easy enough. You guys all meet back up together. What's your plan for the evening?
Did I get my concertina?
Yep. So you met up
Yes.
with
Putting in my inventory.
met up with. Hold on, I gotta jump over to a different screen here in my notes. You met up with Godfrey, and again, as you're looking at this, and it is rather nice. It's the leatherwork in between is rather impressive for the very much, and the end panels that are made out of wood are amazingly carved. As you're walking up to this building with Maley Bailey, the first thing you notice is outside outside of his shop, he has about a 15-foot walkway leading up to the door, and on either side of the walkway, set about 4 or 5 feet into this sort of like garden entry area, are 3 statues on each side, all carved out of wood. And you see the first one looks to be half-orc male, looks to be wearing like a breastplate, shield in one hand, war pick in the other, pulled back, almost like he's getting ready to attack. Beside him looks to be a female dwarf in like full plate mail. Again, sword sheathed, shield on the back, but all carved out of wood though. Beside that looks to be somebody of some sort of elven descent, carved out of looks like a dark wood, like a mahogany or a cherry, something like that. Robed, staff in the hand, looks like some sort of magic user. On the other side, you can see a draconian, and then looks to be like a halfling, and then a gnome. And just all in different poses, different outfits, but just the craftsmanship is exquisite. Eventually, he goes up, knocks on the door. The door opens maybe 8 or 9 inches. You can hear it hit as it hits some sort of a chain. You see a sort of sunken, best you can tell is humanoid, and looking in at this room and looking in towards him. Just the room is dark. You're only getting slight shades of light across his face, as mainly in the group of you are moving a little bit. Eventually, he takes the coin and squish it down and hands it through. Go away!
Statues are nice in the garden.
Is it the head to check out? Well, thank you. Perhaps sometime you'll come by and you can model for one.
Oh dear.
Okay,
Never seen a one of you.
thank you. I'll put it on my to-do list. I've got time. Bye. And I quickly turn away, like really awkwardly.
As the door slams in, Melee again sort of loops her arm around the small of your back and leans towards you, but up towards your ear a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't. Just do yourself a favor and stay away.
Will do. Lesson learned. Yes, yes, Art, haven't we got to go meet the rest of our group now?
If you must.
Yes!
So, okay, yes, right. We're in a hurry, yes.
But thank you, Melly Belly. We will, be in contact with you if anything occurs, and we are grateful for your service. Okay, goodbye. And I turn around awkwardly and leave her too.
You following right along, Art, or are you hanging back for a second?
No, I guess I'll follow along with Lydia. I don't really know what else I would ask her.
Okay, you both feel the eyes on you as you start taking off to go meet up with your partners, and then eventually she makes her way back to to somewhere. She disappears as you guys are splitting, going different directions. And a few minutes later, the party hears Lydia and Artemis approaching before they can see them, but and you all meet back up together, and the evening is yours.
So guys, I got my concertina. Have you been listening?
Yes, we could hear you approaching.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Now I can be a real, sailor.
Are we going to go back to the inn we stayed at last night? It's closer to where we need to go, the temple and the city limits?
Sure.
Should we...
I like the fancy place myself. I thought you'd be wanting a fancy bath after you got all covered with worms, but if you want to stay here, that's fine too.
Why would I need a fancy bath? A regular bath will clean just as good.
But a fancy bath has all the soap and bubbles.
I've never had a fancy bath.
You didn't have it. You didn't take a fancy bath back at the mirror-roomed inn.
What's the point of bubbles? I mean,
Bubbles are the
soap?
best thing ever.
You
Bubbles
clean?
and lavender oils and no.
I've never used just soap and some
Ah,
water is
you
fine.
don't know what you're missing. Bubble bath.
If you say so. Anyway, are we going there or are we standing around?
We have to go back to this guild hall in the morning before we are to head out. And maybe we take lodging somewhere in the middle between the two places.
I think that's the one where we stayed at. It was a 9, right?
So,
The 9 that we stayed last
so
night.
the one you most recently stayed at was in the Upper Heartsgate Borough.
Okay.
And that was the one that Snow Moon took issue with.
Oh, let's not
Dragon's
stay
Lodge.
there.
You have at 8, you stayed in the Person the Ghost.
No. No, going back there.
In 11, you stayed in the Crossed Swords.
Yes, I liked that one.
That
That's
is,
too far away, Lydia.
if you're looking around within, let me see here. Let me jump back up to my different wards here.
I have a feeling they wouldn't welcome us back at the Dragon Inn. With Snow Moon being all
Well,
tossed upon.
it seems like the innkeeper and I worked it out, but
I don't see how that is logical.
We
I
don't
think
want to go
the
back to that inn.
innkeeper-
It's not going to smell great in the tavern.
Oh,
that's also
Okay.
true.
Correct. But I don't think the innkeeper would be very smart to turn away 6 people's worth of lodging. But you're right, Jack.
but he might put lard on Snow Moon's bed this time. Who knows?
If he keeps messing with people in his inn, especially in our party, I'm going to put a lot more than a fish under his counter.
And
Where are you gonna
it's
put
a-
his?
And it's a very good way to ruin your reputation if you continue to do that sort of thing to guests.
Well, Snow Moon sort of started it by being confrontational, but you know, we look past these things.
I can stay close to the guild hall and pick up our stuff in the morning and meet you over in the other place to save time if we want to do this.
Snow Moon, it's up to you if you want to stay in that place that sullied your good great grandfather's skull.
The bottom of your shoes.
Yes.
It's just an inn in the end. It doesn't matter to me where we stay.
I think that is the closest place to everything we want to do in the morning.
Then yes, I think that's where we should stay.
This is in.
Okay, so this is literally over in Upper Tartgate over here.
Right, but
The guild hall is over in Hydrus, the other side of the city.
Okay.
I'm taking into account that Lydia will refuse to stay in the person house, so
Jack can stay, can hang out over by the stuff and just, bring everybody's crap in the morning so that we don't have to make a whole thing of,
If you want to.
around getting stuff.
Wait, we can also just skip through that and say you all go back there and just however you want to do it.
Okay. I'm fine with either.
Oh, okay.
Jack is going to stay and sleep outside her, and Fury will join him because she doesn't mind sleeping outside at all either. Sorry, her. It's confusing.
Wait, you're sleeping outside the city gates or on the street? Because I don't think that's allowed.
There are plenty of roofs around here. It is fine. As long as it is not raining. It's not raining, is it?
Nope. Seems to be a fairly comfortable evening.
For some reason I do this. It's going to rain.
You sleep on roofs.
I prefer to be in the open.
And
I have-
under an overhang is generally the best, but
I have
nobody
bad,
bothers you when you're on a roof.
bad
Can't
is
you
the-
fall off the roof? It's angled. Tumble off.
You find a flat roof.
Jack and the DM have the same expression.
Yeah, I've slept in plenty of trees that were not flat. I will be.
How do you sleep in trees?
You climb up, you lie down.
That seems so uncomfortable. I don't think I could find a tree big enough to fit me. I think that's the problem.
You have not been in very many forests, I can see.
No, I live on the coast.
I would like to assist Lydia finding a tree to sleep in.
No one go.
Without even a roll, William, you know that you'd have to go a good couple of miles outside of the city to find a tree. You're pretty sure that where you're heading to tomorrow, you can probably find one that Lydia would be able to sleep in.
Lydia, I think that your dreams will come true very, very soon.
My dreams will come true of a nice hot bubble bath. Yes, okay. We'll go with that.
Okay. So,
Well, this has been a truly riveting conversation.
Yeah, it was very eye-opening.
Before we part away, I take out the sending stone again and I say, we should tell this person to meet us tomorrow after we obtain our stuff. Should I will send a message to him, no?
Sure.
So-
What's
Yes.
like 9 o'clock?
Maybe.
Well, we were supposed to pick up swords and stuff at 7-ish. So that gives plenty of time for us to
It's breakfast.
gather ourselves.
So 9 is our time we tell to meet.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Where are we meeting? Are we meeting at the inn or just at the edge of the city?
At the
Probably
gates?
by North Gate, yes, to leave on our way out.
Okay.
Yes, I think by the gate is best.
Okay. I will spend a few moments conversing with my brother to have him make sure that I get my words correct, as I only have so many. And the message that I will send with the standing stone is we have seen the evidence and met your associate. Our goals are the same. We retrieve the thing you need. North Gate, 9 morning. Join us.
That sounds wonderful to me.
a couple of moments later, you get a response back. Until the morning.
Oh. Wonderful.
Is that like, this is sending, right? That's like in my head, right? I hear that.
Yep.
Oh, never mind.
Jack's like, okay, he meet us. I'm not care for this anymore. Put it in my coat.
So the party splits up to take care of their evening. Some heading over by the guild hall, some heading back to the inn. The night passes for all of you without issue. And you wake up in the morning. Easy enough for Jack and Furia to run over to the guild hall, pick up your items. Start heading back to the party. The rest of you wake up in the inn, grab yourself some breakfast.
Do I see Furia receive her earplugs?
Fury, would you
Yeah.
trying to keep that on the side, or would you just be grabbing them from her?
I wouldn't really try to hide it, but I wouldn't really try to show it and, brandish them around either.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check, Jack.
Okay. Well, the dice is a 19.
Oh, yeah, you see her receive two. It looks like this, as she's handed you these bags of these silvered balls for your palm pistol. She gets handed two small. They almost look like the same sort of idea, but made some sort of material, and they're a little bit smaller. There's two of them though.
Just like at some point on our walk back to the back to meet with the others, Jack's just like, Furia, what is I see you get what is it, little thing? What is this?
Oh, well, earplugs to help, not hear as much. I'm not sure how good Lydia is at playing her new instrument.
Oh, the accordion. Shit.
And
Smart. I should have thought of this. Oh, dear. Alright, well.
I just don't have to tell her to stop now. I can let her go on as much as she wants, and I'll be fine.
I should have thought of this. You are smart, Furia. Smart. Well, worst case scenario, if the playing is terrible, yeah, perhaps Concertina have accident. Who knows? Things happen. Let's see.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but
Of
You
course
never know.
not. This would be terrible to suggest. I merely say it would be shame if something were to happen.
Oh my gosh.
You are right. You are right. It would be.
Well, we should think of more pleasant things for now. Let us make haste and return to our party.
Short while later, you all have just fished up your breakfast. Jack and Fury arrive. Also arriving about the same time is the carriage that the father Abel had agreed to basically have charter you 5 miles outside the city, so you would have a shorter walk into this area of the forest that he last heard that these clerics were seen in.
So Jack will start handing out. Realistically, she probably doesn't like. Furia probably had to carry most of the stuff.
Well,
I feel like
two of them were
Snowman's
mine.
probably like.
And the greatsword, I could carry the greatsword too. So I hand the greatsword to Snowmoon.
Oh, finally, and he's like really closely inspecting it, looking it up and down.
As all of you are looking at these items that Jack and Fury brought to you, it seems like the craftsman did a very good job with them.
Is there a specific item I should be adding to my inventory for a single shot? Me?
Yeah, if you pull up, if you have the gunslinger information on D&D Beyond, it's just the palm pistol.
Palm pistol. Okay.
Yeah, it's 50 gold. It's a one shot. It's a D8. I want to say it's 40 foot, 150 foot range, I think.
4160. Yep, I got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Is the carriage... Anyone doing anything, or are you just hopping in the carriage and heading out?
Has
Hopping in.
what's his
Hop in.
buns met us?
I know you told him to meet you at the north gate, and you guys are still at the inn at the moment. So
Oh, okay.
Does the inn smell like fish?
make a perception check. As you guys have come down, you got there last night. You sort of just rush in, grab some food, and every time you've been in the main room, you've been dealing with getting food. So most of what you're smelling is like breakfast meats and stuff right now. But
22.
yeah, you are noticing little hints of I'll call it day-old seafood. It's like when you go to the
Okay.
supermarket and they've got that fish that came in yesterday, but they didn't quite refrigerate it well enough. Or it's not bad smelling, but it's like, ooh, yeah, that's old seafood. That's probably not going to be good much
Gotcha.
longer than if they don't cook it right now.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So you're pretty sure you don't want to come back here for, the next couple of nights. You probably want to find somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Furia, I ordered you fruit this morning.
What kind?
Mm.
Just fruit?
Fruit? Look, they said they had a apple and a banana and cantaloupe.
Oh no, this is just
I'm-
a JPEG of fruit. What are we gonna do?
Furia, I already ate. Sorry, not fit.
What
I'm
is
calling
that?
you my name. Lydia, I'm sorry, I already ate.
Oh. Okay. And I'll eat the fruit. And the meat. And the eggs.
As you guys sort of pack up everything that you had left over, just throw it in whatever you can to bring it with you. I'll hop into the carriage and start heading out.
Yep.
As you get to the north gate, again, you see a Jack. You immediately recognize this very sort of heavily robed figure. Again, the hood pulled up, the mask across the face. But as the carriage starts to pull up, and the eyes look up and meet, sort of scans over the group of you. All of you notice the same thing that Jack mentioned when you were talking with Father Abel. As the light hits these eyes, they are sort of a yellowish gold color. And they just sort of look across and gives a nod and hops into the carriage, and it continues on.
This is Selkis. I am meeting yesterday. He is the person that I contact.
As he looks around. So you are the ones to help us reclaim this item, and as he looks and takes a couple of seconds and looks at Artemis and William and Snow Moon and Lydia and Fury and Jack, and then starts scanning back over and goes through Lydia and points at you, Lydia. And I think you are the one who will be using this.
What do you mean by that, sir?
Oh. did Abel not tell you?
Not a lot.
This item we had made can only be used by I suppose I'll say a divine individual. One touched by divine magic.
Oh, so now I'm in it for real.
What were you going to do with it if Lydia had not been here?
Then we would have been going back to the city and recruiting another.
I see. Well, that...
As much as I love Abel being a follower of death keeps one, shall we say, straddling the curtain.
Sure. That's one way of putting it.
I get the sense from you that you are... that you bring a certain light to the situation.
Oh, shucks there, sir. I'm so awkward at flirting. Not even
Jeez,
funny.
Lydia takes a compliment. Come on, good.
Shucks! That was very kind of you. I like sun too.
Oh dear.
I would like to ride outside the carriage.
Easy enough.
Jack just gets on the roof.
Man, I wish I gave myself negative charisma. That would have been so funny.
As
Out the window.
as you all watch as
Okay,
Jack sort of
bye.
scampers out the window and seconds just but eventually a little while goes by and you guys eventually the carriage starts to pull over and Jack, you notice it first as you guys are getting a little closer. The trees and forest are starting to get a little thicker. And as the carriage pulls over, it says, all right, John, this is where I was asked to drop you off if you head about due east. There's a small clearing in there with some big stone, like, shapy things. That's the place there. He said them clerics were doing some weird ritual. Take you, it's about a mile and a half in, depending on how quick you can get through the forest.
1.5 in, okay.
I'll wait out here for 4 or 5 hours tops. If no one's come back, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Fair enough, sir. Fair enough.
Art's gonna hop on out of the
Yep.
carriage.
Yep. I'll hop
Yeah.
out as well.
As the group of you started hopping off, and it's as you're all starting to look at this forest, and it's strange for as you're looking, it's almost like it's early morning now. The sun is starting to peak up. It's after dawn. The sun's out. It's not really over the tops of the trees yet, given how close you are to the entrance to the forest. But even with that, there's been light your whole trip here. As you're looking into the forest, those first couple of trees, you're seeing shadows. And then the forest just seems to get darker and darker as you look further in. William and Jack, it doesn't look all that different to you as you don't, I should say, anyone who doesn't have dark vision. So I think it's William, Jack, and Snow Moon. You don't have dark vision either, right?
Correct.
Oh, and Lydia doesn't either, so okay. So for the 4 of you, looking at this, it doesn't look much different than any other day. You're looking into a very dark forest. You're standing in the sunlight. It's just very difficult to see more than a couple of feet in. Fury and Artemis, you both notice you really can't see very far in either. It's almost like there's something that's messing with your vision, as you're used to being able to see further in the darkness than you feel you're able to right now.
Art kind of scuttles back and forth and then kind of like cocks their head back and forth a little bit.
Well, that's strange.
Oh, you're seeing it too.
All the lack
Well,
thereof.
rather, yes, this is not a normal forest.
Just another level of difficulty, I suppose.
But this one you cannot see.
Everybody, the farther in I look, the darker it gets, and then I can't see any farther, which is unusual. Usually the light would be coming through the canopy of the trees and you could see as far as normal, and it seems like there's darkness inside.
If I cast light on a rock and throw it in the forest, can I still see the rock then? Like the magic light will permeate the darkness, or?
Go ahead and make a strength throw, just to see how far is you're trying to check from where you're standing. Strength check, sorry, strength throw.
Right,
Not
let's
bad, not
try.
bad. 18.
Oh, okay. So you watch as you throw it in, and you watch as it's hard to tell anything right as it leaves your hands. It's still in the sunlight. The minute it hits those shadows, and you're used to your light, it gives off and it irradiates out. Mm-hmm. As it enters the forest, you watch as it's still glowing, but it looks like the range is diminished. So as you're used to seeing it, what's light? I think light is 40 foot, right?
Yeah, 20 foot, 40.
Yeah, so when you're used to seeing that dim to 40 feet and that bright light for 20, what you're seeing now is bright light for 10, dim for 20. It seems to be cutting it almost in half. Now again, it's not darkness, so to speak. It's just darker.
Okay.
So it's not pitch black. As you're walking in, you can still see. But as you're starting to enter, as you look up, it looks almost like the canopies have grown. This is an old forest. The trees are thick. As you're looking, some of these trees, it's literally these bases are 5-10 feet wide. Massive oak and maple. Just heavy branches hanging down. Some of them, 10, 12 feet in the air. Others seem to go up 30, 40 feet up and higher. Just as you're moving through, heading ever eastward. That same sort of, again, slight discomfort for some of you. As Artemis and Lydia, Artemis and Furia, you're both used to being able to see with minimal problems. Again, even though it's grayscale, you're used to being able to see farther in the darkness. Right now, you guys are seeing about 10, maybe 15 feet past where Lydia's light's ending. Even your dark vision seems to be suppressed a little. But as you start moving in, about half an hour, 45 minutes into this journey, you've probably gone, again, maybe about a half a mile or so. You start to notice little bits of phosphorescent, like yellowish green fungus and mold on some of the trees. And as you're starting to see this, that sort of suppression and darkness you've all been trudging through starts to fade. Notice you're still not seeing the sunlight coming through for those of you without dark vision, but it's now easier to see Lydia. That pebble you cast light on is now illuminating the full area again. Furia and Artemis can see their full range of vision. And as you continue in, you can see more and more of this yellowish green phosphorescent glow. Some of it's wrapped in on bushes and plants. Some almost looks like vines and ivy wrapped in climbing up trees.
Furia, have you ever seen any of this before?
Have I?
Go ahead and make a, we'll call this a nature check.
It's interesting stuff.
Yes, quite beautiful actually.
Oh, that's a 7.
You know that there are some plants that have this sort of phosphorescent-esque, I guess I'll say ability or sort of charge to them.
Mm-hmm.
But you've never known such, you've never heard of anything being quite this concentrated. Like it's, typically you'd find one or two here and there, never something like it. As you're moving through, it's like somebody just took like a can of spray paint and just started blasting it around this part of the forest. It's much more dense than anything you've ever heard of before.
Right.
Are there any
Yeah.
like fungi or moss or ivy along like the ground that we're walking?
It's not directly on the ground, so you're seeing it mostly on plants around you. So as you're looking, and you'll see, there's a bush beside you, and you'll see it sort of almost like it's laying on the leaves and growth on, but it's not on the ground itself. It's all everywhere you're seeing it. It's on something that's growing out of the ground.
Do you have an herbalism kit? Maybe we can keep some of this stuff. It's pretty cool.
Does Selkis have any commentary on any of what we've been doing or seeing so far?
Selkis had sort of been hanging back a little bit from the group, and as you turn back to look at him, you can see he's actually got a kit out and is taking little bits and samples along the path.
Oh.
And it looks up at the group of you. Sorry, it's not often that this occurs. They must be involved in the ritual. As we get closer to the stones, you will see more of it, and the stones, they'll be glowing as well.
What ritual?
Dangerous to touch?
The clerics are attempting to destroy the staff we had made.
Oh, okay.
If I'm seeing Selkis pick up some of this glowing stuff, then I am like right in there and also doing that because
Okay.
I want to document this.
Yeah, easy enough to... Now he's got a couple of vials he's putting into from his kit. You can just put a note on your inventory, vial...
Okay.
vial glow moss.
Glow moth.
And when you've got some time to go into it, we'll see what you can find out on it.
We can have rave later and throw it around in the air. I'll play my
Well, if you
concertina.
Like glow sticks, but
Yes,
You're
exactly.
gonna need more than one vial for that, I think. But eventually, as you guys continue moving on now, at this point, it's probably about no more than 10-15 minutes before we come upon the clearing.
All right.
How do you want to proceed?
I can't do stealth, so anyone that wants to do stealth should go ahead.
Okay.
I can help us with the stealth.
Okay.
I have Pass Without Trace.
Okay. Then maybe we should do that.
If we want to do the stealth, you have to stay closer to me.
Use your magic for those that need it, and for those that maybe do not, can spread out a little further so that we are not in one clump as we approach this ritual site.
Yes, I would like to proceed stealthily by myself or with one other person.
I'll
Is this-
stay by Furia.
Is this a smoosh everybody or a go in, grab and leave operation?
Selkis, would you rather have these druids alive or What did you think Father Abel would say?
As he sort of looks at the group of you and just, you want, sort of rubs it and pulls the mask that he's had over his face the entire time and cracks a grin, and you can see that there's a couple of teeth missing. Looks like a couple of them are like broken and jagged. And I don't see any reason to bother him with more people to talk to.
Oh.
They are in our way.
Alright, plan A, shoot everybody. Plan B, if that seems to be taking too long, we grab the item and I guess send it. This seems good to me, yes.
Alright.
When he pulled his mask down, what like did he have? Was he like a? He had like a. He looked like a human-ish. Did he have like?
Yeah, as you're looking at him, you would
face or
guess.
something?
Nope, he looks to be human.
Okay.
It's just it looks like as he sort of gives that grin, you can see he's just got broken, jagged teeth. It looks like he's had a bit of a rough go of it.
Okay. But he doesn't look like. I was just trying to get a feel for what race he might be.
As you look at him, he definitely
Generally
looks
looks like
human.
a human with something wrong with his eyes.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright. Well, I'm not gonna go with Will, but Jack is of the similar mindset to like go ahead and sort of like move a little bit away from the main group and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Alright, I will need to be near Furia. Snowmoon, how are you at stealthing?
Not that great, so maybe should I hang back at the front of the clearing, and then if I can jump in if...
I'm going to help you stealth better if you stay near me magically. Well, actually, it wouldn't be magically. She wouldn't know that.
Okay. Yes,
So
I'll...
you stay by me, your stealth will be enhanced.
Okay, I'll
No.
stay by you then.
Not too bad.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah, you have to stay.
Seklis is going to stay fairly near you. So is the main group is sort of, you guys are heading into this direction, heading due east, so you're coming from the west into this. So as the main group is sort of hanging together, William and Jack, are you guys both heading north, both heading north away from the group, both heading south, splitting?
Oh boy.
We are approaching from the west, yes?
Yep. Actually, let me do this. Let me go, we'll do this here.
Whatever way William moves away from the group, Jack will go the opposite direction.
Okay.
I'll go
To
north.
create like a pincer formation as they
Okay.
approach.
Yeah.
So we have William going north, which will put Jack going south. So what we're going to do real quick is grab reveal. We're going to... Okay, so give you a little bit... Come on, yeah. Get... Okay, so we are going to jump over to give you at least a little bit of way to plan before you describe full on what you're looking at. Okay. So you guys should be able to see yourselves way over here on the west. Oh, no, that's not my click thing. Okay, way over here on the west. So I just flung art for some reason. And so feel free to sort of break yourselves up as you would distance yourselves out, approaching this area.
We're going this way?
No, so you're on the western side here. You're heading towards the right, basically. Actually, no, I should say, can you guys see the whole map or no? Can you only see that little bit?
No.
Okay.
No,
We can only
that's
see
that
the-
little-
my vision cuts off like right here.
Yeah.
the boat's
Yeah,
four
mine's the
parts
So
same.
let me do this then. What we'll
Yeah.
do, I tried to get to unblock get rid of there. So what we're gonna do, just so we don't give all the spoilers away, too quick, basically open up. Okay, now keep in mind you guys are still a little ways away from this, and it'll depend how far you guys will make it. Will depend on your stealth checks and what your plans are. So we've got it opened up a little bit, so basically you can see sort of around, sort of a C shape around it.
Gotcha. So this ritual is like in here somewhere?
Yep.
Okay, and so William's up there, and the group is going like here-ish.
Yeah, the group right
We-
now, I
we-
just
we
stuck
would
the
be
group in the
going-
middle coming from the west, so.
Okay. Mhm. And
I
each
would-
of
I
these
would-
is like, this is an entrance, and this is like not passable by.
Well, no, so basically what you're looking at is you guys are starting to get closer and you're starting to hear these, you can hear chanting. And you're hearing phrases getting repeated over and over again. Only one of you, I think only one of you speaks. How many speak Draconian? It's just Snow Moon or?
Just.
Oh, sorry,
I think.
yeah, that's it.
Draconic.
Draconic.
Yeah, Draconic.
I'm awake, I promise. Yeah, so Snow Moon is hearing just one phrase, and every once in a while something else, but hearing a number of voices repeating the same phrase over and over again. Order of Draco. Order of Draco. Order of Draco.
God, Draco Malfoy's a bad guy in
Order
this
of
game.
Draco.
Oh no!
As you're starting to sort of creep closer, that little sort of rocky area is only like 3 or 4 feet up. It's difficult terrain, but it's not impassable.
All right, well, let's see. Based on where William is, this is a good spot for me to be. So I'm good. I'm good. Ryan.
Okay.
I guess I'll go in like this area up here, and I don't mind being in the front because probably have a higher AC than like Artemis. So
I would let everybody know that this thing that I can do, you have to stay
oh right. So,
within 30 feet of me,
okay.
and I may, if I choose to turn into an animal, I may drop concentration in favor
Alright.
of a different ability.
Makes
But
perfect
that will
sense.
happen mostly once, fighting starts. We'll see.
Gotcha.
Right. Very good.
Okay, so go ahead then, everybody. I need stealth checks from you.
Just advantage! Yay!
Plus 10, whatever
Plus
you get.
10!
That's
Is,
okay.
If you're staying within my 30
Holy
feet.
William is invisible.
So I have a 15. That's with the plus 10.
Oh,
Oh
yikes.
dear.
Yeah, let's see what.
I've got a
25.
20.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so once we have. Snow Moon is a 15. Art, what'd you get?
25.
Okay.
Wow.
Lydia?
20.
Okay. And, okay, wait a minute, 25. Matt, what was your, Jack, yours?
16.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. And Furia?
20.
Okay. Okay. Let me take a look at my information here. Okay, let's see here. Okay. So that is okay. Just checking different perceptions from these things. Alrighty then. Okay, so as you are all starting to creep closer, again, so far it doesn't. No one is seeming to react to the group of you. So what I'm going to do as you guys are creeping closer is just going to reveal the whole area here. I don't have a robed image, so reasons, but basically as you guys are starting to creep forward, you're seeing basically think of it like the Stonehenge obelisks. There's 2 verticals and then a top on it. Standing about 5 or 10 feet in front of each one of these is a heavily robed individual. backs to you, robes pulled low, and you can see the arms folded in the sleeves, slowly bowing just forward, and Snow Moon again hearing over and over again, "The Order of Draco, the Order of Draco." And then every couple of moments, in the center, next to this one standing vertical obelisk, is another heavily robed individual, arms up in the air, holding what you all recognize from the description is the staff that Father Abel was talking about. And you start hearing Snow Moon again. You hear the voice crying out, "The High Lords will give us power. All we need to do is destroy the staff." And again, just the constant chanting, "Order of Draco." And that same, and all of you are hearing that same sort of almost like hissing dialect that Snow Moon had recognized from Father Abel. And again, you understand the word Snow Moon, but it's best way I can try it is think of it like somebody from New York listening to somebody from Alabama.
Got it.
Same
Okay.
language, but a very different dialect, a very different sound to the way they're saying the words. It's
Ooh boy, Order Draco! Yeehaw!
All right.
Wow.
Our nation.
Yeah, he's not going to talk about it just yet, since we're still trying to keep hidden here. So.
Can you tell me what the positionality is of the cultists?
so it's basically each one of these obelisks that you can see. So if you look at like this one here, each one of these stone structures, there is a person standing about 5 or 10 feet in front of it. So let me see here. Let me grab. Because I don't have. Okay, we've got.
So,
Should
about
we
We'll
8
just
of
grab
them.
acolytes. Oh,
Should we
really? That.
ambush them?
Hold on. Let me.
And then one in the center.
Yeah, give me a second.
That's
I
what it
gotta-
sounds like.
So you've got.
One
So
in
we're
the
just gonna
center.
throw. Really? Is that still? Can you see that person?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
that's showing up very dark on my screen. Give me a second.
It blends in quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Camouflaged
that's-
a bit, but you can see it.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, that
that's-
stands out better.
Okay. So we're just gonna.
Should we ambush him?
So basically, if you're looking at where I'm placing these couple, I'm not gonna hit one because there are already tokens there, but you haven't seen what they look like yet, other than the robed individuals, and I only have their
Right.
Well,
actual
Jack
appearance.
and
So.
That would be fun.
Jack and William already split up stealthing, so maybe we should wait to see what they do before we
Aren't they
blow their
going
cover.
to ambush them?
That's the whole point of stealthing, Lydia.
Ambushing?
Yes. Either that or scouting, and we're done scouting.
All right.
I'm
Should
going
we?
to move up so I have a clear shot. And I'm going to hold a arrow at the ready
Okay.
to shoot at the guy in the middle.
Okay.
And I will shoot it when I hear somebody else doing something first. One of my party members attacking, or the ritual changing in some way. That's alarming.
Okay. So what is it? And we'll have Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to
Looks like
approach.
he's gonna sneak up over and sort of station himself behind this sort of tree, like half climbed up this section.
And I'm just going to position myself at this side of one of the obelisks and just kind of wait till I see Jack and William take action.
Art, are you coming?
Oh, yes, sorry, was strategizing.
So, so I'm gonna make my way, like, hiding behind the stone pillars
Okay.
here.
10-foot radius sphere. I always forget what the. Let me see.
Basically, it's a
Um,
20-foot circle.
The guy in the middle who has the staff, where is he specifically?
Oh, sorry. Copy. He is right here. So from Jack's point of view, you probably don't have a good line of sight on him. You can
Right.
see, basically two arms going up like this with the staff held, sort of sticking out beside the obelisk.
Okay. I'm gonna do a thing. I am. Is that what I want to do? Yes. Who wants me to do a thing? Are we all waiting to do things?
Do a thing.
So far, Fury is the only one
Okay.
who's holding an action. Everyone
Alright.
else is just
Kind of
stealth.
all
Alright.
just waiting to do the thing.
All right, I'm gonna do a thing.
Initiate
No,
the things.
I'm gonna do the thing. I wanna do the thing.
You can do the thing.
I'll
Lydia
do the
will eventually
thing.
hold an action to do your thing. Well, William
Okay,
does
I'll-
his thing.
All right, I'll hold my action to do. Well, I don't. Mm, Okay,
Just a
like
suggestion.
to-
I don't know what you're doing, so.
I would like to coup de grace this guy from stealth.
okay.
You can certainly try. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Yes.
You will have advantage as he doesn't know you're there. And as okay, hold on. I gotta switch over to the. Okay, so as this is happening, Fury and Lydia, you both said you were holding actions. What are you two doing? As I gotta.
Oh wait, I can only hit this
Okay.
guy and this guy.
So immediate. Actually, we'll jump to Fury in a minute because right after this we're going to be rolling initiative. So, William, as you come up behind this person, with your first out of the two attacks, taking your scimitar and slashing into it, and as you swing into the back of these robes, all of a sudden you hear as it drags across armor. Your second attack, carving back with the other one, you actually manage to hit and make contact with and carve a large slash into the back, and you can see as part of the robe starts to hang over, a very large reptilian tail starts to wave out from within.
Okay. 15. Okay, maybe I'll do that. 15.
Okay, now, and Lydia and Furia, your two actions go off at this point.
Alright, so yeah, I fire an arrow towards the guy in the center.
Okay, so go ahead and make your attack roll.
A 15-foot cube is just 3 by 3.
Yep.
Sorry. Okay.
That's a 15.
Okay. And as you fire that off, and that just clatters off of the obelisk behind him. Just misses, unfortunately.
Alright.
And as that fires off, and you see the head whip and turn and starts looking over towards you. Lydia, what's your action going off?
Okay, I am going to cast Shatter
Okay.
right between these two blokes, so it gets both of them.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use Destructive Wrath, so I channel my divinity to deal maximum damage instead of rolling any dice.
Nice.
There
Dude.
you go.
Okay, and that's a 10-foot
Chunky.
radius sphere, so yeah, that'll definitely hit.
Nice.
Okay, and what is the
Let's say, let me see, let me put that in.
Doesn't shatter like affect the environment also?
potentially yes.
It's a con saving throw. And
Okay.
material. Oh, a creature made of like stone, crystal, or metal has disadvantage.
Okay. Or items. So that's con save for each of them. Okay, so first one we'll do the guy in the middle. And one holding the staff. Let me put this down. Okay, yeah, that's an 18 on the die, so he's going to make the save.
Yep.
The other one, though, is a 2, so that is not going to make it.
Okay, so they're going to take. Let me just make sure. 12 and 24 points, respectively.
Okay. So that's him. Okay, and as all of you watch, as you can watch Lydia sort of move her hands and starts muttering to herself and then casts this spell. You watch as this shockwave literally just explodes between these two individuals. The one in the middle seems to get knocked back a little and pulls the staff down, is now looking around frantically. The one standing right in front of you, Lydia, is just gone.
Oh!
Like, vanished.
Oh!
And as you're looking, as you watch as this spell slams into the body, immediately you see this pool of this sickly, bubbling green acid hissing on the ground where that individual just was.
Oh dear. I don't really know if that's either it's dead or it turned into an ooze, or maybe it's going to regenerate.
And we are going to use you. Actually, not. I'm not going to use green because that is going to blend like hell. I'm going to use blue for this sort of bubbly green liquid. And with that, I need you to all go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Okay. Cool. Click on your
So you're going
token.
to first switch up our
Initiative.
music here.
But I'm rolling in real life too, so.
Yep.
Yeah, just to get into the.
Oh look, I rolled an 11 instead of a 12.
Okay. So let me find out my sheets here. Okay, so you, what do you have?
Oh, oops.
Okay, so we have K's. Okay, that's not great. Seconds, we're gonna go. Just give me a second here. I'm just putting dots on here so I know which minions are which. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, everyone rolling in there?
Yep. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. We will descend. Really? Thank you, mini boss, for jumping in the middle of a thing where you're not wanted. Okay, everyone else. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so that will bring us to the top of the order and Jack. So you can see these heavily robed individuals, and now everyone is sort of looking, and you notice that a couple of them are looking over by where the last spot you had seen from Lydia heading, and a couple are looking straight across where you can now see your brother standing behind this individual. Both scimitars out.
Alright. 10, 15 feet. I'm going to move up to here. And both guns come out. And just stepping into the clearing, she just goes this, and just goes bang, bang into the two people on either side of her.
Okay, go ahead and make your two attack rolls.
Alrighty. Oh
And-
boy. Oh hey. Well, one of them's a crit. That's fun. The other is an 18, I think. I have a
Okay,
plus
so those will
7 hit.
both hit. So first
Okay.
things first is which hand is the crit, left or right?
The crit was the right hand, so this guy.
Okay, so that's it. Okay, so go ahead and roll your damage on that.
Alrighty. So the non-crit damage is 3 plus.
Good job, bud.
The non-crit damage is 6.
Okay, so non-crit 6.
And
So
the
that
crit
individual
damage
is still
might-
on their feet.
Okay. Am I doubling the damage dice or rolling twice?
You can do it either way. I always roll. I just roll double the dice for it, but it's up to you.
Okay. I don't think I've ever crit in this campaign.
To all the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's 15 damage to the guy.
What you watch is that as you shoot into it, you can see just a massive hole blown into the side of these robes. And he is still on his feet, but you can see this sort of sickly greenish sort of ichor blood pouring out of this wound in the side. And again, as the individual's wound, you're starting to see again within the wound, you can see it's wearing some sort of armor, but again, you can see its scaled body and this long reptilian tail hidden underneath the robes that you've now sort of blown out.
Alrighty.
And that'll bring us
That's all
over.
I'm gonna do in my turn.
Yeah, that'll bring us over to Snow Moon.
Alright. I am going to run around the obelisk, and I'm going to try and attempt to tackle the first robed individual that I see.
Okay, so the
here.
one right on the other side of the obelisk from you?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and make a strength check. So you're trying to grapple him?
Yes.
Okay. So he is going to try to keep you from doing so.
Okay.
He's not good at this, but...
It's a 17.
Yeah, he is grabbed.
Alright.
So you're tackling down to the ground, or you're just running up and grabbing?
No, I want to take him down to the ground.
Okay. So you are now wrapped around him, and you are both lying down on the ground.
Okay, and can I... So if I... Alright, I'll use my action surge,
Okay.
and I'll release him, and now I'll swing at him with my greatsword.
Okay, so are you using the rest of your movement to stand back up? Because you tackle him
Yes.
down, you'd be on the ground then. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to stand up, and then...
Oh, okay. So go ahead. You will have advantage as he is prone.
That's a 19 to hit.
Okay, that'll definitely hit.
Alright, that's 10 points of slashing damage.
Okay. So you can see it definitely looks at you've carved deep in, and you've again cut a massive swath through this cloth, and you're starting to see the same thing: studded leather armor underneath it. And again, as you're looking, you can see this sort of almost as you're looking, you're right up in front of this. You can see almost copper-colored scales coming up the side of the neck and shoulder where you cut into it.
Okay.
That will bring us over to William.
Okay, I'm gonna cutting action disengage from this guy right next to me,
Oh, okay.
and I'm gonna run right up to the guy in the middle and slash at him with my scimitar.
Okay.
And again.
Okay, so
Dang.
What?
as you come charging up to him, he literally just slams the staff down in front and is using that to push your scimitars aside. As you're trying to carve down, you're pulling it back a little, trying to make sure you don't damage this magical item that you've been sent to collect. Anything else you'd be doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna step back. Hold on, let me count how much movement I have. And I'll just step to the side of him right here.
Oh, okay. That is actually going to bring us over to him. And he's starting to bark out orders. And you're hearing him call out to the others. The Snow Moon, you recognize what he's saying. You can hear, "Shed it. Let them see what they face." And you watch as, with the hand still holding the staff, he just reaches up, one hand onto the thing, and just pulls at this robe, and the robe just tears, almost like paper. And standing in front of you, let me get rid of my little...
The last picture was so gross, I don't want to see it.
It's not exact because these are not... What you're looking at is... Well, this individual, at least,
Okay.
looks
Ooh.
almost like... As he rips this off real quick, and William, you look at it, and you glance over at Snow Moon and back at him. This individual has shining silver scales.
Oh.
And
Oh, dragon.
as reaches back, sticks the staff on his back, and pulls out a great sword. But as you're looking real quick, as he's winding up and looking to swing at you with this great sword, you notice he has a tail behind him. As you look over at Snow Moon and realize the few other Draconians you've seen don't typically have tail. I keep saying Draconian. The few other Dragonborn you've seen don't typically have tails.
Huh.
As he turns and goes to wind up and is taking one swipe with his
At
one
first glance, that little red thing makes it look like he has a bow tie on. I'm just saying.
It's the doctor. What can I say? He
Yes.
regenerated.
Exactly.
So he's going to make, he's actually making 2 attacks against you, one with a greatsword and one as a bite. So the first attack is, yeah, that's not going to hit. That's a 9. So as he swings with the greatsword, just misses and then tries to bite you. Yeah, that 17. Well, 17 hit William.
Yes, it will.
Okay, so the bite hits, so he manages to chomp down on William. William, you're going to take 5 points of piercing damage as this individual bites into your shoulder. And that is going to end his turn. And that will bring us over to Furia.
I'm gonna move up a little ways, making sure that everybody that still wants to be hidden can do so.
Oh, okay. Oh, and actually, hold on, give me a second to... I forgot to roll initiative for Chucklehead. Give me a second here. Sorry, I'm just using a... hopefully it's not going to put his name there. I'm hoping it'll just give me a... oh, of course, it's going to put his name, isn't it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. Give me a second. Yeah, I don't care if it puts his name in the chat. I just didn't want to go on Cyclist on here. Okay, so that's...
Right.
Oh, luckily that actually puts him right where he needs to be, because that is a... Let me just reorganize this real quick and adjust that. I didn't want to really? Sending again. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Okay. So you're moving up so you can keep anyone hidden who wants to.
Right, and I'm actually going to shoot over at. I'm not sure. Can I see the whole circle? Is it bright enough to do that at this
Yeah,
point?
as you guys have walked in here with the, as you're looking, all of these, like the greenish yellow lights that you're seeing around each of these obelisks, you can see it. I won't say it's daylight in here, but it's fairly bright with all of this phosphorescence going on.
All right, then. I'm going to shoot the person directly to the south of the guy in the center.
Oh, okay. The one Jack took a chunk out of?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Just go ahead and make your attack roll.
$17 this time.
Okay.
But no.
Oh, yeah, I'm on. Where is... Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. That's why I can't tell. Pretty sure that's good enough to hit. Yep, that'll hit. So go ahead and roll your... you don't even have to roll damage for that. As Jack wrecked him last time.
It would have been an 8, so...
Yeah. So as you watch as this arrow drives into the chest of it, and Jack, you watch as the arrow sinks in, and you're, and then nothing, and then the body just stops moving. Doesn't fall over. Doesn't do anything. Just stops.
Yeah, I'm scratching my head as I could sort of see what's going on. I expected the thing to fall over or burst into a pool of acid like
Right.
the one
Yep. That
up here.
as you hit
so
it, this one still has.
that's-
Again, you can sort of see the hole from that distance that Jack put in it, but you really can't get a good, not a clear look from that distance. But you can definitely see, like, it had been hunched over, breathing heavy. You were watching the body doing this, and then all of a sudden, the arrow sinks in. You hear that sort of strangled cry, and then just completely stationary.
Right. Yeah, I think it's odd, but I can't really do much about it at the moment. So I'm going to stay by this old tree, I guess.
Okay. So that'll bring us over to our green individuals. Which means I can finally get rid of a couple of things here. So we're on top. So don't mind the people vanishing. I'm just as they were told to take off their robes. They're going to be following instructions. Hopefully this is only going to do the ones I want it to. Token layer. So as these four individuals that all at the same time, again, the one on the ground has a little bit of trouble just pulling this off. First thing, you notice in Snowmoon, you see the same thing. All of you notice that these individuals all, okay. That backwards. Okay. So these ones all have that sort of, I'm guessing I gotta flip over. These all have a sort of copperish scale color to them. And the one immediately next to Snowmoon is going to stand up and is going to try to attack you, Snowmoon. So it's going to make a bite and a claw attack to you. Bite attack first. That's an 18 to hit.
That'll hit.
And the claw that's cocked, which wasn't, that was a 20. I don't think the claw is going to do it. That is a 13.
No, that will not hit.
Okay, so the bite is going to hit, though. So I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
All right.
as you are going to take.
That will be a 19.
Okay, so you are. Okay, and that. Wow, really? That is 1 point of piercing damage. And as you feel the bite, and you can feel the sort of pulse, as you can feel this venom being pumped into your body, you can feel your muscles and everything starting to tense up, and you manage to push through it. That one is dead, so this one really can't get close enough, so it's going to pull out a short bow and take a shot at Jack. No, I don't think that's going to do it. That is a 15.
15 will hit.
Okay. 15, that is... I'm loving the ones tonight. That is 4 points of piercing damage. And then he is going to back up and duck behind this pillar here. This one that's up front. Yeah, you can catch up. So it's going to run up and come up beside William here. And is going to make 2 attacks, a bite and a claw against William. First one is a 19 to hit for the bite. And then a dirty 20 for the claw. So I think both are going to hit. William, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me. Okay, and unfortunately that is going to fail. So as... for the bite... Okay, so for the bite you take 2 points of piercing damage. You feel that same sort of pulse as this venom enters your body, and your muscles all tense up. You are now paralyzed for 1 minute. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of your turns, though, trying to end it. And then for the claw, that is 1 point of damage.
Wow.
I'm not using you anymore. I've retired that dice. That is literally the third one it's rolled on that. And then I
use it for the next. Use it for like the next 3 turns at least.
Okay, so that he is. I don't know why I brought him out. He did actually not do anything because he is dead. Yeah, he is still technically robed, but I think he's dead. And that will bring us over to Artemis.
Oh dear. Okay. We're going to move up here just a little bit. And then seeing how well it worked previously, we're going to throw a shatter over. Let's see. I believe right here will do it.
So that would also hit William.
Then right there.
Yeah, so
Shatter
you're trying to hit
location.
just this one, or you're trying to...
Let's see.
Yeah, you'd have to literally, like, center it on that individual, because anywhere...
That guy. Yeah.
But
I think if
Maybe
you
we
go
put it over
beside...
shatter an evocation spell,
Oh yes, that's right.
not an evocation wizard.
Spell shaping.
Right. I'm just wondering.
On this square, it'd be fine. Anyway,
I am
10
an
and
evocation
10.
wizard though.
Okay.
Right. So spell shape away.
You just put it wherever the hell you want.
I'm going to put it right on William, and then the spell shape. No.
Oh, you
You
can. There's
can.
William's surrounded at the moment. I'm sure William won't complain.
Actually, you know what? That's not that bad of an idea. Let's
Go
do
for
that.
it. Do it.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Alright, let's see.
So that's a So if you're doing Jerry, I know that's a Constitution saving throw for each of them.
Hmm.
Let's see here. What is your Constitution?
And
What am I rolling?
Okay. So that's
Damage.
3d8.
3.
Okay. So our
Oh gosh.
green dot friend is gonna make his save. Let's see.
Ew.
Yeah, so they both make the save this time. So they both take half damage for whatever you roll.
Oh god. 15. Jesus.
Okay. They are both still on their feet. The one on the back side, the one further away from you can definitely see it definitely seems to have rung his bell a little more. But they are both still actively on their feet at the moment.
Okay. Well, darn. But I'm gonna probably stay where I am though.
Okay. That will bring us over to Lydia then.
I'm going to. Wait, hold on. Spiritual weapon?
Okay.
And I forget how close I have to be to it.
You can create it within 30 feet.
Oh, I thought it was 60.
Oh, it might be 60. I thought it was 30, but
60. So I'm gonna put it right over this guy's head,
okay.
and it's gonna look like a kitty cat paw again, because I like that now. And it's just gonna try to hit that guy on the head.
Okay, so go ahead and make your attack roll.
Sure. Plus 6, 19.
Okay, so that is enough to hit. So go ahead and roll up your damage.
1d8. 8.
Okay, what we're gonna
8
do
force
is,
damage.
Oh, fine, we'll just use pointy hand because that's what I can find handily.
Okay.
And then so I don't have to deal with it. You can move it. And
Just
what was the
poke
damage?
him.
What was that damage?
8 force damage.
Okay. He watches. He had been focused on William, but seeing William sort of lock up, now whips back and is looking back towards the sort of group of you that are all clustered together.
Mm.
And that is going to
Which one did it? Oh no.
Who knows? There's a whole lot of you right in a row, though.
Yup.
It's certainly not the tiny one with the bright pink hair.
That is going to bring us over to Seklis. Let's see what Seklis is going to do to help you all out here.
Come on, Seklis, be like
Okay.
a level 12 barbarian.
Okay.
He was more likely to be some sort of ranger with all the long distance
Yeah.
artillery he's carrying around with him.
So,
Got a very roguey vibe off of him.
Yeah.
as you watch, he takes, pulls out his hand crossbow again. And actually, Sutton, most of you are probably a little further in, so don't really notice as he takes out takes the front of the crossbow, which has a little bit of a point on it, drags it across his hand and cuts himself. Mutters a couple of words, holds up, and then actually takes a shot, firing over at the individual directly in front of Snow Moon.
Okay.
And then that is
Cool.
Okay, so that is... Don't know how, but is somehow still going to freaking hit him.
Yay!
And actually, let me just check if I even have to roll damage on that, because I know Snowmoon... Yeah, I'm going to have to. No, Snowmoon messed him up, just didn't know how much. Okay. He, as this bolt slams into the side of him, and you watch his entire body is like almost shuddered and knocked over in front of you, as you can see this now half silver shafted crossbow bolt is buried in the back of this thing's neck. He is still on his feet, but he is looking extremely rough.
I'll say.
And
That sounds unpleasant.
and that'll bring us over to the last group of these robed individuals here. That
Oh, yeah.
As they're going to pull off their individual clothes as they start moving towards the group of you. And again, as you're looking at these, and we're going to for our people at home, and those you can see these ones again looking very similar. The tails, the scaled skin, but these are a brighter, almost copper color to them.
Okay.
And this one, after being so rudely assaulted by Jack, is going to charge up on Jack. This one is actually Jack's closest is going to charge over there as well. This one being close is going to come over to William. And the other one is dead. Okay, so we have on the attacks. We're going to start with the ones on Jack. And this is, they can make 2 attacks, so you've got a bite and a claw coming at you. So that bite is a 19.
Yep.
Ugh.
And the claw is a natural 20.
Ugh.
So that's going to hit. So let's see here for the bite. That is 6 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And then the claw, which was the 20, was 8 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Then we have the other one making the attack at Jack, which a nat 20 on the bite.
Oh no.
And
You
then
need to go get your other dice.
and then a 7 on the claw.
Yeah.
So that'll miss.
So the bite is gonna hit that time though. That's and that is 13 points of piercing damage that time for the bite.
Whoa.
And then we have William, who is currently paralyzed. That is a 14 to hit on the bite.
No.
And a 15 on the claw.
No.
15, yay or nay?
No.
Okay. So both of those, somehow this immobile halfling is just impossible for this thing to hit. And that will bring us over to Jack.
Okay, so the first thing Jack's gonna do is cough up a tremendous amount of blood. I'm gonna take the disengage action and move her full movement speed to get 25 to here. So she basically gets like absolutely shredded by these two dudes, and is probably leaving like an almost visible trail of blood in her wake. However, her eyes are locked on her brother as he's paralyzed over here, and she just like combat rolls away from these two guys. And sprints in this direction, and then I'm gonna burn my action surge to give myself an additional action, and she's gonna take the with my action surge. I'm gonna take the attack action, and she just like she lets out this like throat-rending scream as she like unloads both barrels into the two guys on either side of William.
Oh, okay.
Do I have to do anything to... so I've used action surge. Doesn't look like I have to use anything. I think I can just
as an ability. I'm
Yeah,
gonna burn my
it's a
grit
free
point.
action to action surge. Oh, yeah, okay.
No, I'm going to burn a grit point to take a disarming shot with my main hand weapon at this guy.
Oh, okay.
As she's going to try and shoot him, like, in the hand and knock staff out of his hand.
Well, right now, the staff he's got on his back, right now he's got a great sword he's holding.
Same deal. I'm going to try and disarm him. And then the offhand... actually, I don't think I can take the offhand shot, because that's technically... has to burn a bonus action.
Oh, okay, for 2-weapon.
For 2-weapon fighting. Or I guess I haven't used my bonus action.
Yeah, I'd say you'd still... I'll allow it.
I guess I can, yeah, so I guess I can fire both.
Yeah.
So I'll shoot both guns. So the disarming shot on the guy is a 11, 12, an 18.
Just hits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the other shot is a... That's not... That's only a... Is only a 12 for the other
Yeah,
one.
so the other one just goes a little wide. It seems like you were more focused on the first.
Okay. So the big guy is going to take 8 points of piercing damage and needs to make a strength save or have his greatsword shot out of his hand and knocked 10 feet from him.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And what's your DC?
13.
And that's a 3 on the die, so that is not going to make it. So
Yeah.
as you watch as his sword just goes toppling end over end, lands about 4 or 5 feet away from him on the ground. And he's sort of shaking off his hand, the head turns and glares down at you.
The Jack is just like both guns at her sides, like gun smoke curling up out of her head, like bleeding from her mouth, her ears, like several slash marks in her chest. But that's all I can do.
Okay, so that'll bring us over to Snow Moon.
All right.
Still has this very angry but very injured looking creature right in front of him.
For player knowledge, that last set to take off their robes, did you say they were green or copper?
Copper.
Okay. And can I assume what I know about draconic ancestry applies to these folks, or no? In terms of...
It's... As you're looking around and you're looking at these things unrobing and you sort of glance over your shoulder at the pool of acid behind you, you're not really sure what to think, and then they've got tails.
Yeah, okay.
It might be right, but it might be wrong. You're not sure.
Well, he sees Jack go to William's aid, so I guess he decides the best thing he can do is just try to take down the one that's still standing in front of him, so he'll swing his greatsword.
Okay, so go ahead and make your attack.
17 to hit.
That just hits.
Oof. 9 points of slashing damage.
Okay, so as you all back and swing down and just start to cleave, and you watch as the sword sinks down into the middle of the body. I need you to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Okay. Ooh boy, that's a 2.
As you carve down and you feel the sword and you watch as the eyes start to go dim, and all of a sudden this face looks at you and just grins as the body turns to solid stone,
Oh.
entrapping your sword.
Oh, damn.
And as you try and move it, the sword seems to be stuck within the body at the moment.
He just lets out a growl, and he'll leave his greatsword embedded in this, and he'll run over to the one in the center, and he will brandish his longsword.
Oh, okay.
And that'll be my turn.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to move the fist over here so it's not hovering over your head.
Okay.
And that'll bring us over to William, who is currently paralyzed. So at the end of William's turn, go ahead and make another Constitution save for me, William. And unfortunately, William is still stuck. And we come to this guy who is now currently got a floating kitty paw over his head. Paralyzed person in front, but now he's got more people all around. Okay. So it's gonna make it. It's gonna make its full battery of attacks. It's gonna. It doesn't have that anymore. So yeah, it's gonna make 2 attacks on the paralyzed William in front, and then it's taking its third attack because it doesn't have its massive sword, and it's gonna try to bat at Snowmoon with its tail. So the first 2 against William. That is a nat 20 on the bite. Yep. And then a 14 on the claw. I don't think that 14 hits.
No, the 14.
And then the tail for Snowmoon. Okay, that's a 15 on the die, so that's 22 on the tail.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Okay, so for the bite on William. Okay, William takes. That's right, math. 9 points of piercing damage. And then the tail on Snowmoon is 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
That'll bring us over to Furia.
Alright. Question is, can I easily sort of shout over at Seklis without, ruining his spot, I guess? Too much?
Oh, well, Seklis already.
Do I think it's
Seklis
possible?
took an attack, so he's technically not hidden. He's just staying.
Alright.
You can see he's sitting there. He's just sort of out in the open. People might be aware of him, but the one who knows where he was is now a statue with a greatsword stuck in its chest.
Right. Alright, so I'm gonna sort of shout over at him, just like, hey! And I'm going to drag my hand or my finger down one of my silver swords that I'm hoping he noticed was silver earlier as we were sort of handing them out.
Okay.
And then hold it up, and I'm gonna turn into a bear. Because I don't want him to shoot at me, thinking I'm like a weird creature or something. And I'm going to run down towards the 2 guys at the south there. Try to distract them a whole lot from
Okay.
going up towards the middle.
I don't think I have a bear token handy. Druids, man, buy all the animal packs for your tokens.
As long as they realize that I'm now a very large creature that is growling and snarling and doing their best to
have a bear.
Aww, that's adorable.
So Furia now has a bear. And I can't remember, is that an action or a bonus action for you to shift?
That is a bonus action.
Okay, so you have your action left.
Alright, I believe I would be able to get into reach at the closest one. So I'm going to take a claw and a bite at them.
Okay, so go ahead and make your swings.
Give a taste of their own medicine.
Well, the first one, let's see which one is listed first here. It's a nat 1. I don't...
Okay,
Yeah.
that is not going to... As you come charging, he just sort of panics and jumps back a little. It seems to just get out of your reach.
But the claw is a 19 to hit.
That'll definitely do it.
That is 12 slashing damage.
Okay. And once more, as you carve into this one. Let's see here. Actually, it's been a couple of rounds, so this is gone at that point. Now, so as you watch as this thing falls and is no more, leaving, again, much like the prior one did, just a pool of this sort of bubbling caustic liquid laying on the ground.
And I'm going to try to get the attention of the other guy near me.
There is no try. He is looking at you as he just watched one of his compatriots turn into a puddle next to you.
Great, that's my turn.
Okay, so that, and actually, let me mark. He is dead because they are going next, and I'm going to put a purple dot on him because he currently has Snow Moon's sword stuck in him. So we only have 2 more of those guys left. So one of them is going to take his 2 attacks on William because he's still... But actually, you know what? Let me see which one he's going to do because William isn't doing much right now. And he's got this little thing to just try to take a shot at him down south.
Do your worst, Matthew. I can take it.
Let's see. He all of a sudden barks over to his right and starts pointing down at Jack. So the one in the distance that's sort of hiding behind over here is going to take... actually, does not have a ranged attack, so can he even reach there? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25... Yeah, he can get right over there. He's going to charge up on the side of Jack and take 2 attacks on Jack. First one is a bite, and that is a 14.
That meets the mark.
Okay, so that hits, and then next one is a 2, so that misses, but let's see what that bite does where Jack is looking a little rough at the moment.
I will heal you. Give me 2 turns.
That is 3 points of piercing damage.
Okay. She it was a bite he got him with?
Yep.
So he clamps on. She just kind of bats him backwards off of her and turns her attention back to the now 3 creatures surrounding her brother.
And then the other one is going to take 2 more attacks at William. And that is a 19 on the die, so that's definitely going to hit for the bite.
Yep.
And the claw is a 5 and a 2 is definitely going to miss. So that bite is 6 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And that ends the last 2 of them, and that'll bring us over to Artemis.
Okay. This is getting ridiculous.
They're gonna shuffle around in their pack and pick out this kind of small little pouch with stones, kind of shake it around a little bit, grab a couple choice stones, and
Alright, one more time. William, be careful.
they're going to do Snillock's Snowball Swarm.
Oh, okay.
Centered on William. Spell sculpting, of course. But it's 5-foot radius, so all 3 of those guys, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay. And let me just take a look, because I have no idea what that spell does, actually.
No worries.
Okay. 5-foot radius, yeah, that's around. So that is dexterity saves all around. So what is your spell save? It's not gonna matter for him. He fails. Okay, that might be close.
Where do I see that again? I'm sorry.
It should be on top of your spell sheet, up on the in the middle. Spell save DC.
Oh, yes, 13.
Okay. So the only one that made the save is the one due north of William. Both others failed. So go ahead and roll it as your 3d6.
Yep. gonna roll that through here, just for ease.
Oh,
'cause
okay.
I don't have 3d6 with me. Well, I mean, oh well.
Okay.
Okay.
So, first one on the far, well, the first one on the far side is now a very lovely statue.
Hmm.
The one on the north is still on his feet, but is looking absolutely wrecked. Oh wait, no, he's the one who made the save. Sorry, so that's. Oop. Yeah, so he's
Gets
looking
half as
rough,
much,
but yeah,
but-
he's looking rough, but he's not completely out of it yet. That brings us over to this guy, who failed his save as well, and is looking very rough.
Okay.
And that will bring us, and what we'll do is we'll get through this round of combat, and where it's running late, we'll see how this goes, and probably gone into tonight's session after this round, because we're already almost half an hour over, or a little over half an hour late. Lydia, what you got going?
I think I'm going to I'm going to hit this guy with my kitty cat paw.
Okay, so go ahead and make your
leader.
attack roll.
Ooh, nice. 21.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely do it. So go ahead and roll your damage.
1d8. Not bad. Math. 10.
Okay,
Yeah,
he drops
it's
to
like-
one knee.
Ooh.
He is definitely looking like he is in dire straits right now.
Dire straits. And then I will use my movement and dash to get here and then up here. I calculated this out. I could do this and get flanking with Bitter Jack. Cause I cannot heal you this round. 'Cause otherwise I'd
Okay.
land here. So. But no, I'm thinking of you, Bitter Jack.
Oh,
Get out my
player
mind.
doesn't. The character didn't even notice you. She's still.
Fair-
like,
Fair enough.
there is so much murder in her eyes for the two dudes still near her brother.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
so that brings us over to this one. Let's see here. And it's he's gonna take a shot at. Let's see, he's got. He doesn't really have a clear shot on either one of those, so he's just gonna roll and see which way he's gonna go. Yes, he's gonna take a shot down at the one by the bear.
Hmm.
Because that's where. Oh, and that is gonna be wide. That is only a 13. That's gonna miss.
Thanks, Skill Rex. You're doing great.
And that'll bring us over to our red guys, who I removed one off the map, which means you are at this one. So that is the one that is, yeah, there's two of those left, one by the bear and one by William. So the one by the bear is going to make its 2 attacks against the bear. That is a 3 for the bite and a... Sorry, that's a 3 on the die. Let me check. So that is a... Yeah, that's a 5 on the bite and an 18 on the claw, though.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is a 1 slashing damage for the claw.
Yay! That's
The
that
bear
Lit-
has so many hit
Okay,
points.
just in
Why?
case you're watching, Michael, I want you to remember these dice. These are the dice you gave me for our first campaign together for Helmer. Fuck these dice.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Then-
appreciate your help.
You know, let's replace the one that you've been rolling. Well, let's try this one.
One.
So I switched to this for the attack roll for the next attack against William. I rolled a 2 on the other die and a 1 on this one. So the bite misses William, and that's a 9 and a 10 on the second one. So both of those end up missing William.
Nice.
And that brings us to the top of the order. So it's up to you. We can run and finish the battle if you guys want to, or we can call it here for the evening and pick up next week. I know we're already about 37 minutes late, so.
Okay.
I'm good to keep going.
I don't know if my heart can take waiting a week in the condition that I'm in right now. Find out what happens.
Okay,
So I'm into staying.
Okay, if everyone's good, realistically, with the condition of the combatants remaining, you guys have done a decent amount. This shouldn't take more than, I would assume it'll probably be over this round.
Okay.
Okay, so Jack, that'll bring us to you then, top of the order. There's still
All
two on
right.
either side of your brother. You've got another one that just took a bite out of your shoulder.
Of the two next to William, which one looks worse for William?
The big one is down on one knee.
Okay.
It looks like whatever just happened to him coming from the other side wrecked him.
Okay.
The one in front of William ain't looking too good either, but the silver one is definitely in worse shape.
All right. Then Jack stows her offhand pistol and levels the main hand one at the big guy. And Lydia is probably, I guess Lydia is the only one to hear this, as through like gritted teeth, she goes, she says, like almost seeming to herself, she goes, Maka, I release you. And her eyes both go jet black as I cast Hexblade's Curse on the big guy.
Okay.
Oh dear, I didn't know you could do that today.
And
Did I?
I'm going to. She's done it before, but never. I don't think
Okay.
ever like super close to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually she's off in the distance when this happens.
Yeah. Just the first. Can you see my hand?
And I'm gonna make an attack against the big boy there.
I guess not.
Meanwhile, there's this dragon man creature in between the two of you.
She's basically.
Oh,
like,
I've got big arms.
Her arm in his jaws, like holding his face off of her as she points the pistol at the other guy. So that is a 22 to hit.
Yeah.
That'll hit.
Yeah.
And she's gonna
Hit
deal.
that bitch.
Oh shit! Max damage.
Whoa.
Plus more for Hexblade's Curse, so that's
Nice.
15 points of damage.
Nice.
So we're not out of initiative, but Jack, how do you want to do this?
Oh hell
That's
yeah!
enough to kill this one.
So yeah, she just like cocks back the pistol and like these jet black eyes with like this like almost like swirling of galaxies within them. She kind of like spits out like a loogie of blood.
Oh, you
And
didn't
then
have to do that. That's me.
Pulls the trigger and the this sort of like spectral bullet that comes out of these guns just dead between the eyes of the one right in front of William there.
And as the one slams into it, and the body falls backward, laying on the ground, Snowmoon, as it lands in front of you, it's Jack.
What?
The
Weird.
body looks like Jack, with this strange bleeding injury, almost right dead center between the eyes.
So I do like a double take and look back where Jack was. Do I
Still
see-
standing there. Weapon
Okay.
held out, smoke pouring out of the nozzle.
I don't know if William can hear in his petrified state, but in Halfling as he hits the don't touch my fucking brother.
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
That'll bring us over to Snowmoon.
All right, so he sees this one crumple in front of him. So he's going to approach the other one next to William and attack with his longsword.
Okay, go ahead and take a swipe.
That's a 14 to hit.
Fortunately not. It just manages to pull up and just blocks you with its, actually, what do you have on you? And it just manages to pull up and has its own short sword up to block your strike.
Yeah, he feels like the weight of the long sword feels different in his hands, used to the great sword. And I will bonus action second wind.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I get back 8 points.
And that brings us back over to William, who I need to make another Constitution save at the end of your turn. William?
Con save.
Yep.
Let's see if it happens.
Unfortunately not. Jesus. Okay, so that brings us to Hilly, who is dead. That brings us to Furia.
Alright, I would like to use my nat 20 as I bite this guy in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and just go ahead and roll your damage, because that is definitely going to hit.
Like 18.
Alrighty then. So what are you doing? Just how are you killing this individual?
I mean, I would go in between like the neck and the shoulder, right in there, and biting
Okay.
them. And if they're not going limp by the time I'm clamped down, I'm gonna shake them a little bit just to make sure.
So
See, this is what we were talking about.
as you reach down, bite in, and just pick this up and start shaking the head back and forth, you hear this sort of sick gurgle as this creature dies in your mouth. I need you to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw as this body bursts into a pool of acid.
Yeah, that's an 8.
Okay, so you are going to take a little bit of damage as this body explodes against you. Of course, that rolls well. 6 points of acid damage as it just sort of pours down your throat as his body bursts.
I immediately sort of open my mouth, sort of try to, spit stuff out. It's a weird situation for a bear to be in. And then I'm going to turn around and bear dash over to the enemy in between Jack and Lydia.
Okay, you should have control of the bear token to move it over. And that will bring us over to...
I still got another attack, though. Do I have to do it on the same person, or...?
No. If you have both attacks, you can definitely use it.
I can...
Yay!
I'm going to slash at this guy with my claws.
Okay, so go ahead and make your attack.
Do it. Kill him.
Not 20.
Okay, go ahead
Great
and
time to use it.
roll your damage. What do we got for
19
damage?
points of slashing damage.
Okay, I need you to make another dexterity saving throw.
Alright. That is a 12.
As you carve into this creature and just rake your claws down, you watch as the body starts to go limp and then solidifies into stone, with your claws still within it.
So, bear, urgent bear noises.
And
I don't know what they would sound like.
Panicked Chewbacca noises.
okay, and it is Lydia, as you notice that again, this thing is now just solidified, and this bear's claws are embedded in this stone statue.
Oh,
this-
that's gonna...
There's no more of those guys left anymore. So that brings us over to Artemis.
Okay then. Well, we're running out of people to shoot.
Yeah, there is one left. It's on the other side of Snow Moon at the moment.
Well, seeing as I'm running out of second level spell slots, I'm just going to go with Old Faithful. Magic Missile.
Okay. So go ahead and roll up some damage. I don't know if it's possible for you not to end this here, but might be close.
Ted.
That's good.
And with that, the last individual falls.
Yes.
As once more this
Oh, boom.
body bursts
Oh.
into a sickening, sort of bubbling blue acidic pool. And as we come out of initiative, that's where we'll call an end to tonight's session. We ran
Okay.
very late as like I said, I don't know if we could have waited with what was going on at the moment. So before we disappear, we need to decide a nat 20 for next week.
Oh my god. I totally vote Jack for her heroic
Yup.
battle dodge roll. And then the 2 action surge gunshots. That was pretty good.
Pretty good battle progress.
I wrote Sarah for props.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. For having
She
the
whipped out an
accordion.
accordion
I was gonna say that too.
when she got the instrument.
I've been
With an
saying-
honorable mention for urgent bear noises. I read at the end there.
We'll probably just, have this guy stuck on the end and just start banging it around trying to get it off. I don't know. They're pretty
We'll work
strong,
on
so.
Yeah.
Just you don't want to be in the path of a flying statue.
No.
Okay, so we got a couple different ones, but where Fairy had it this week, we will toss it back over to Jack for next time.
Yay!
Yep.
And we will pick up here next week to find out, what is going on with these strange creatures.
Yeah.
To collect a gemstone-covered staff
So
from the
smart.
body of Jack.
Oh yeah.
So there are many questions to be answered next time. So make sure you guys you tune in with us next time. And never forget, when you decide to gang up on a halfling who's been paralyzed by the venomous saliva in your mouth, don't forget to add your proficiency bonus to the perception check to see whether or not said halfling has a psychotic sister with firearms.
Oh.
We'll see you next week, folks.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.